right, thank you all for being here tonight for this regular meeting of the City of Fort Walton Beach City Council. If you do have an electronic device, if you could please make sure that it's on silent so it doesn't disrupt our proceedings this evening. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and before that, an invocation from Pastor Larry Gilliam of Westwood Baptist Church. Please rise if you're able. The invocation. Larry Gilliam, Pastor Larry Gilliam. Councilman Schmidt, you want to fill in?
Lord, thank you so much for this day and this time and this purpose, Lord. I pray that you continue to give all of us discernment, whether we're the stakeholder from the private citizenry, Lord, or other government agencies that are here tonight to talk business, or our staff, our council, our charter officers. Lord, be with us all as we continue to put you first in our lives and the business comes second, Lord. And because of that, we thank you for this great country, to celebrate this 250 years. We thank you for this great city, Lord, as we continue to put first and continue to handle business as well. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Council, we'll need approval of tonight's agenda, please.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman DeBerry, I assume, for approval of the agenda, and a second by Councilman Merrill. Any additional discussions?
Yeah, I'd like to add an amendment to the motion and see if there's an appetite for it. But to move up business, let's see, the 13.4, move that up to, where was the around the mound? I saw it whenever I was reviewing the agenda this week. 10.1, move it right after that, if there's enough support on this board, move it right after 10.2, or right after 10.1.
So you want to move 13.4 after 10.1?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Second.
Second that amendment. All right. Let's have a vote on the amendment. Does pass unanimously, so the agenda is approved. Time for a couple proclamations before we get into the business. We'll start with the Temple Beth Shalom. And Gerald Gross, president, is here to receive the proclamation. If you could just, I'm sorry, if both of you.
Rabbi Michael Schaff.
Please, Rabbi as well, absolutely. If you could both just stand there. The City of Fort Walton Beach proudly recognizes the 40th anniversary of Temple Beth Shalom as the oldest and only Reformed synagogue in the city. Temple Beth Shalom, first established as the Jewish Brotherhood in 1977 and evolved into the Jewish Community Center in 1978 as a way to represent the interests of the Jewish community in the city. With its recognition as a formal synagogue in 1985, the temple counts Judge Irwin Fleet and 50 charter families among its founding members. From financial contributions and community service to organizations such as Sharing and Caring, Opportunity Place, One Hopeful Place, and the Greater Fort Walton Beach Chamber of Commerce, Temple Beth Shalom has enriched our community for decades. Therefore, I'm honored to proclaim spiritual celebration in recognition of the 40th anniversary of Temple Beth Shalom in the city of Fort Walton Beach, and encourage everyone to celebrate and honor this rich history with sincere gratitude through the gift of fellowship and community awareness. If either of you gentlemen has a brief statement.
Just many thanks for the recognition. It's most appreciated.
All right. Well, your presence here and what you do in our community is sincerely appreciated as well. And if you two gentlemen wouldn't mind stepping up here and taking a photo with all of us as we rise to be in a glorious photo with you on this 40th anniversary.
Thank you.
Thank you guys
So much.
Appreciate it. Yes, sir. Thank you all. All right, we have three excellent students from our high schools here tonight. First one is Mr. Jonathan Morgan. If you're here, step on up. If you have any family with you, we'd ask that they would stand with you. as they have for all these years. All right, let's tell everyone about you. Do you go by John or Jonathan?
Jonathan.
Okay, I like it. Very formal. Very good. Mr. Jonathan Morgan demonstrates civic excellence through outstanding academic achievement, numerous certifications, and church involvement. With a weighted GPA of 4.7, he's excelled in the International Baccalaureate program while also being recognized as a two-time Auntie Mitchell Academic Honors Award winner and winner of the President's Award for Educational Excellence. Additionally, he's earned several coding certifications, including the Knowledge Pillars SQL and Python Coding Specialist certifications. He can hack all of your computers if you're in this room. There's no doubt about that. Certified CW Data Analyst. Jonathan was awarded the St. John, can't do that word, Certificate of Merit in 2024. His academic excellence and commitment to serving his school and community exemplify the highest standards of civic responsibility. Congratulations, Jonathan. Will you tell us your future plans, sir?
Well, I plan on attending USF eventually. This fall, I'm sorry. This
Fantastic.
fall.
What you plan on majoring in?
Computer science.
Ah, should have known. Well, congratulations, man. If you and the family want to come on up here and get a picture with us, that would be awesome.
Thank you.
Congratulations, John. All right, Miss Reese Armstrong, are you here? Come on up. Do you have any family or friends with you that you want to stand up with? We'll tell everyone about you. Miss Reese Armstrong embodies civic excellence through impressive academic achievement, extensive extracurriculars, and numerous awards with a weighted GPA of 4.69 and a class rank of 8. She has distinguished herself by enrolling in 12 AP classes while also being recognized as a 3-year Viking Scholar and recipient of the Sunshine State Scholar Award and Scholarship. As a member of the Beta Club, National Honor Society, and the Health Occupation Students of America, Reese has made a tremendous impact on the improvement of our local academic community. Additionally, Reese's volunteer efforts with the USTA Juniors Tennis League and the National League of Junior, what's that word? Cotillions. Looks weird on paper. Exemplify her dedication to the local community. Her leadership, intellect, and deep involvement with the community programs extol the highest virtues of civic responsibility. Your future plans?
I plan to attend the University of Florida, majoring in biology, and I hope to pursue a career in pediatric oncology.
Oh, very cool. Well, y'all come on up and get a photo with us real quick.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations, sir. All right, and last but certainly not least, Mr. Madden Mares. Bring up the fam as well. Mr. Madden Mares epitomizes civic excellence through extraordinary academic achievement, sweeping extracurricular activities, and commendable community service. With a weighted GPA of 4.67 and a class rank of 10, he has distinguished himself by being recognized as a Viking Scholar and a member of the National Honor Society. As a member of the Fort Walton Beach High School swim team, Madden has competed in multiple state championship meets and holds a school record in the 400-meter freestyle relay and the 200-meter medley relay. Additionally, Madden's volunteer work as a beachside church mentor for middle school students and 86 hours with the school food pantry program exemplify his dedication to the local community. His leadership, intellect, and deep involvement with community programs extol the highest virtues of civic responsibility. Nice work, man. Where are you planning on going?
I'm planning on attending Santa Fe for the first year and getting my AA in engineering, and then transferring to University of Florida to get my bachelor's in mechanical engineering.
Nice. I see Gators fans all over the place pumping their fists. Dude, that's awesome. If you and the fam want to come up and get a photo with us real quick, that'd be great.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Congratulations. Appreciate all you guys being here. Thank you. Thank you. Raising these great kids, we really appreciate that more than anything. Council, we need a motion on the consent agenda tonight.
So move to approve the consent agenda?
Motion by Councilman Merrill, seconded by, oh, I'm sorry, we got one more thing. My bad. We'll do that though. We have a motion and a second. Any additional comments on the consent agenda? Council, please vote. And that does pass unanimously. Brings us backwards 1 to 6.4. And Mr. Davis with City of Fort Walton Beach employee recognitions.
All right, first up, Tamaya McKinney. No Tamaya.
Wait, how many years, Maya?
5 years. Yeah. 5 years for Tamaya in the police department. This next guy did 30 years. He started when he was 9. That was Burt Rhodes with code enforcement.
Chief Babe.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So we have 3 quick awards. One is Eric Boucher, who has 10 years of service with the Fort Walton Beach Police Department. Eric, we have nothing fancy to give you because you're leaving us. He's actually leaving on Thursday, so we threw your award in the trash. But we appreciate the 10 years of service you gave to us. Thank you. We'll go with Montgomery first. And then Officer Montgomery, if you can come forward. So Officer Marcus Montgomery was recognized by Central Square, which is a major computer software vendor in the United States. And he received a national award for Central Square for going above and beyond for his commitment to the community and to public safety. So in addition to the recognition you got from Central Square, we'd like to present you recognition from the Fort Walton Beach Police Department. And we'd like to congratulate you on your award from Central Square for going above and beyond.
Thank you.
And then Senior Airman Marcus Wu, if you can come forward. Hold on to this. Thank you. And I will tell everybody why we are going to present this to you. On April 22nd of this year, he was driving on Holmes Boulevard and he noticed a lady basically being mauled by a dog. There was 2 vicious dogs out there. He stopped his car and intervened and actually was wrestling with one of the dogs for several minutes until the police department could get there and also assist with them. And we truly believe it wasn't for his actions, that lady would have been seriously injured and possibly killed by one of the dogs because that dog was so vicious. And if you hear the accounts, he truly wrestled with the dog and restrained that dog until first responders can get there. So not only does he serve our country in its defense overseas, he also stepped up and took actions here locally and really went above and beyond what probably any citizen or anybody else would have done. And we truly want to commend you and congratulate you for taking that action and bestowing that responsibility of public safety that everybody has, but really truly stepping forward and committing to the community that you live, work, and serve within. So thank you for your dedication.
I would just like to say I wasn't the only Ameren out there. It was a team effort, one team, one fight. The events that happened that night and the results of it, I couldn't have done it alone if I was just there by myself that night. So I'm going to give credit where credit's due.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor.
Council, that moves us on to your opening comments, if you so choose. Mr. Browning.
I'll save one for the end, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Ms. DeBerry.
I'll save one for the end. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Jeter.
I will not save for the end because I'm not sure if I will be able to be here that long. I'm waiting on some prior kid event commitments I may have to leave for. So I would just like to say thank you to everyone who could help with the Billy Bowlegs event, from the parade to the skirmish. I know we had our police boat out there. It was a great turnout, and everything went off without a hitch, and everybody made it home very safe. So thank you to Billy Bowlegs and their crew for all they do, and thank you to staff for working with them and having such a wonderful festival in our brand new landing that I heard nothing but great things about downtown.
Couldn't agree more, sir. Thank you. Mr. Merrill.
Yeah, I want to hop on that bandwagon. The crew and the relationship that they have with the city is great. I mean, the crew does so much for the city, for small businesses. Full disclosure, I joined the crew a year ago, and I haven't been as involved as I would like, but getting to know the people behind that and the amount of work that they put in on these events, and they drive business. Their whole heart behind it is to bring business to the city, to have fun doing it. They did a great job. I've been around Bowlegs, since I moved here in '92, and to see it come back to the landing with it done was awesome. To see the crowd out there, to see the city show up, it was great. So kudos to them and the city and the relationship that they have. I also want to bring up the police department. I called the non-emergency number this week. I didn't know if it was going to be an emergency, if it wasn't, but I had an incident in one of my businesses. I was 4 minutes away. The first cop car pulled in right before I did. 3 more showed up. They de-escalated the situation. Our police, hats off to them. They handled it great. It could have got worse. They made it so much better. The show of force and the response time and everything, I couldn't be happier as a business owner in the city to have that kind of response and them show up. So thank you to them. And then one other thing I just wanted to mention, on a side note, is we're getting a lot of calls about the traffic light cams. I'm getting it. It's something I just want to talk, and I know we talked about it, just to make sure that in response to the county, that we can maybe hit that next month. I know we talked. So that's it for me.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Riley.
I want to quickly thank Chief Page and the Fort Walton PD and all law enforcement nationwide in recognition of Law Enforcement National Week. I talked to Chief Page. I wanted to send him a personal message, and it slipped, but I just wanted to tell you I appreciate what you do, and I also appreciate your officers. You're doing an amazing job of keeping the city of Fort Walton Beach safe. So thank you for your service.
Thank you, Ms. Riley. Councilman Schmidt.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback off of what Councilmember Merrill was, but I heard nothing but great feedback from the landing and opening of that. David, Park and Rex, and our whole team that has executed that. It's great to see that project not only being done, but a classic Billy Bowlegs, skirmish, and other family fun events there, as well as to piggyback off the public safety, but different testimonial. I know the water was busy, and I know Paige and those guys were out there getting after it on the new boat and learning some systems and trainings on that. So excited to see them out getting after it there on that end. Our firemen, it's that time of the year where they're all already always hot, but all of the calls, the volume of visitors that we have come in, and the things that they put up with that are the example of behind the scenes work. So want to appreciate them as we gear up to this hot season and all that they do as well. And finally, just going to end on just the budget as we go through the budget process, and Nicole's team and Jason and at all departments. The work that is to be done and to continue to be done, a preliminary thank you, but I know we got a long ways to go, and to encourage our staff to continue to find those alternative revenues, specifically with user fees, specifically the boat launching, as we continue to communicate with the county on what their program may or may not look like at Cinco Bayou. But a lot of costs that goes with this water access that our out of county folks are burdening. And as we prepare in the budget process, continue to find those user fees that users aren't forced to have to use, and especially the benefit of living in the county and living in the city, not having to pay to maintain that user fee because the county and the city already have paid into that. So that's all I have for council comments today, sir, and thank you all for everything that you do.
Thank you, Councilman.
And I'm also as well, I got my older son's chorus concert today as well at Liza Jackson, so I may not make the end as well, Mr. Mayor. Please excuse me.
My oldest son is there as well, but
thank you for
I'll
holding
see
it
what
down.
I can do. If you can video some of mine too, that would be appreciated. Councilmember Walker.
Save it till the end, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. I will just say as well, I know a couple people have mentioned it already, but I got some numbers today from the Billy Bowlegs folks. An incredible attendance. Estimated 2,500 people in the park on Friday night around 7 o'clock at the time of the skirmish. Friday night, if you've never been to Billy Bowlegs, is as the mayor, most glorious time when I am able to defeat the dirty pirates, send them away handcuffed, sink their boat to the bottom of the bay. I very much take pleasure in Friday night, so I'm glad we had a record number of people there to see it. Saturday, unfortunately, there were similar numbers as well. Tons of people, park packed, family having a great time. But then I lose and they take over the city. So I'm hoping that one day we will have the fortitude as a city to move forward with this whole Washington Generals, Harlem Globetrotters situation. And we, as the city, can finally win on Saturday. And we can still have a party, and they can still be there. It's just they don't get to take over. I don't have to give them the key to the city. That'd be great. But back to no. Well, I'm not allowed to make a motion, but if one of you guys wanted to sometime, that'd be great. Food vendors reported sales on Friday night equivalent to the combined totals of both Friday and Saturday of the previous 3 years of the festival. So when we talk about its effect on businesses and vendors and all those things and all the businesses downtown, fantastic stuff. They gave away 2 $1,000 high school scholarships to 2 students who were there in attendance to receive the scholarships. And they're already raising funds to do this again for next year. So really, really great event. And the new park made it even better. So very pleased with all of the Billy Bowlegs things. That's all I've got for right now. We'll move to public comment. So anyone from the public that wishes to make a comment on any item that is not on tonight's agenda. So if the item's not on the agenda and it's not something we're going to talk about later, then come on up, give us your name and
My name is Malcolm McCoy. I work for the city of Fort Walton as well.
Okay.
And what you had said about the people coming together, that's awesome.
I appreciate that.
That'd be good if people can come together no matter how you look, how much money you got, who your name is. Yeah, it'd be nice to sit at a park and just hang out.
Yes, sir.
Don't get bothered. Don't get ran off because of the way you look. It's one of them days I hope that can happen. I work for a city. I've been working for the city, man. I felt like I was a part of something. I felt like I'm doing something. But I can't even go sit in a park and have a good conversation without being ran out with a gun. You think one day we can do that? Just sit down, all of us, without no dumb stuff, because the person got a badge, because the person got a big name, they got money, that makes them better. And I work for y'all. And I got to go to work tomorrow knowing that I work for people that don't even like me. I just pray it's a change. I appreciate y'all listening to me.
How you doing, City Council? My name is Cortez Craig. I'm here to address an issue that's going on at Chester Pruitt Park, our city park, my people's park. We, for the last, I guess, week or so, if we come to sit out in the park, if we go down to the park, we've been harassed. I've had people that's been given tickets, ordinances about the power. Is there an ordinance about the power down in the park?
About using the electrical outlets?
Using the electrical outlets.
Yes.
There is an ordinance?
That's an ordinance across every city park, every city building.
Okay, see, we didn't know. We were not notified. Okay, but the thing is, like I just said, we were not notified.
Right.
What has to be done about this ordinance as far as people hanging out? We're not hanging out, but coming to the park.
I mean, everyone should be allowed to hang out in the park, whatever park it is. That shouldn't make a difference at all. But everybody's not allowed
being trespassed, right?
Right. Yeah.
So we've got.
I mean, during the park hours, all those things.
But we're being trespassed. We're being given tickets about plugging our cell phones up, plugging our bicycles up.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's
again,
what I'm here to address.
That is an existing ordinance, if that's the question you're asking. Like, using outlets is an existing ordinance.
It is an ordinance on the books. Okay.
And it's existed a long, long time.
So how long has this ordinance been in effect?
Mr. Burns, Mr. Davis, anybody?
Before I was city attorney.
Yeah, I mean, probably the 19-somethings.
I've been here since 1970, and I know it's been in existence since then.
So now they just started addressing this ordinance on certain people now, right?
No,
I mean, I don't know the answer to that. We could certainly ask our police department, but I'm sure it's been I'm sure it's been in effect since then, and it's been enforced at varying degrees throughout 50 plus years. If we could keep the comments quiet, everybody will have an opportunity to talk for sure.
Well, I'll talk with Chief Page.
Okay.
I see him every day.
Gotcha.
I'll talk with him.
Sounds good. Thank you, sir. Sure. Next, Mr. Bishop.
Brandon Bishop, 309 Briarwood Circle. The landing looks amazing. I was down there. It's turned out beautiful.
True.
I'd also like to thank our rec center director and all their staff there. Basketball season was great. I'm kind of bored. I don't have basketball practice anymore. There was 2 people that stood out to me and came to some of the games, right? A few of them. If some of y'all came and I missed y'all, I am sorry. But 2 people that I know did show up, I've got a little thank you from the team. And I'd just like to say thank you to David Smith and Miss Riley for taking the effort and time. I came at the beginning of the meeting and encouraged people to come. They took time to come, so I'd just like to say I appreciate it.
Thank you for coaching.
This isn't as fancy as all the city ones, but
Thank you so much.
thank you.
Thank you for coaching.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you. Thank y'all for y'all's time.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else from the public on any items not on the agenda tonight? Yes, ma'am.
Morning, Oregon 187 Rosemary. I just want to talk a few words about the motion that was brought up 2 meetings ago and failed, and then was brought up again last meeting and passed. Still not sure how that happened, but anyway. I'm referring to the motion to seek a proposal from the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office to take over dispatch of Fort Walton Beach Police Department. Those people who work in your Fort Walton Beach Police Department put their heart and soul into helping protect this city and its residents 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That is a very stressful, mentally taxing, and mentally exhausting job. And they talk to people who are sometimes having the worst day of their life. In fact, that job could be compared to a fast sports car. It can go from 0 to 110 in 3.5 seconds. You can be talking to somebody on the phone about a vagrant panhandling downtown in 1 minute, and the next, you're talking to a mother who just found a child dead by suicide. You can be working a beautiful Sunday, they can be working a beautiful Sunday morning, maybe taking calls about traffic backing up on 98. And then they take a call about a lost child who's found drowned. They sometimes get a call from people who are wanting to commit suicide. Sometimes they are on the precipice of the act. That dispatcher keeps them talking, keeps them engaged, lets them know someone cares. They keep them alive for the police to arrive on scene. And then you know what? They continue to answer those calls. They continue to do the job. And they come back for the next shift because it's all about helping people. And how do you want to show your appreciation for all this hard work and dedication? By getting rid of them. So I say shame on you. Shame on you.
Good speech, but was irrelevant. Irrelevant to the real world problems in Fort Walton Beach.
Hey, we don't need that, man. If you want to make comments like that, you can go outside.
I'm gonna be good.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes,
my
sir.
name is Gerald Bond. I just would like to readdress the situation about Chester Pruitt Park.
Yes, sir.
I just want to know, even if the police officer could tell me, what other part have y'all started putting the devices on the electric outlets? What other part? Now, I've been to several parks around here and I haven't seen it. And y'all said the ordinance been in effect since what year?
70.
How long?
1970.
Well, Chester Pruitt Park is the only part that I've seen that y'all did that at. I haven't seen other parts.
I didn't understand what you said about the outlets.
The outlets y'all started locking the outlets down.
Oh, that's been going on at the
Chester Pruitt Park, only part that I've seen it done at. I haven't seen it.
Bro, it's been going on at the landing at least for 10 years.
No, man, I'm telling you, man, y'all just snowing us. Thank you for your time.
Okay, well, I'm telling you that that's absolutely been an ordinance for a long time in the city. No, sir, that's not true.
I got a question.
Yes, sir. What's your name?
It's an honest question. I just want to know, can a I know the president can convict the felon. I just want to know, can a convicted felon run for y'all job?
Yes.
They can?
Yes.
Okay. That's number one. Number two is, I went to the park to plug my bike. I'm handicapped. I wanted to get it. I am handicapped. I get an SSI check. I'm handicapped. If I go to the park and I'm about to plug my bike up and the cop pull up and tell me that I can't plug my bike up and I don't plug it up, I don't get no warning, no nothing. I don't know the rules. I don't get no warning or nothing. So I go to the police station. What I'm supposed to do, because the thing on the thing say protect and serve. That mean me too.
Yes, sir.
And I go up there and I file a complaint, and they pretend like he sent one of his friends out to listen to the complaint. He come back because I go to the police station to file a complaint, doing stuff the right way. And he come over there and take the paper from me, and I got it on my phone. And he add fines to it because I go to the police station. Is that the way y'all protecting and serving? Because I want to know. Because if it is, I want these jobs. I just want y'all, I promise, I'll serve y'all well. I'll be there, I won't let them kick you out the park. I swear. I would never do nothing in that park that'll stop me from going up there. Never. Do nothing that'll stop me from going to that park. I've been going to that park since I was a little boy. I've been playing baseball in that park. I played softball in that park. I hunt girls in that park. Dance with girls. Ain't no way I'm gonna do nothing that's gonna stop me from going on. And I respect you. I'm not gonna be up there talking crazy, because I know that don't get you nowhere. I'm gonna show you the respect that you deserve. But I want the same thing. He didn't even give me a chance. I asked him, well, can I get a warning? He told me no. I came up here and I talked to the people like I was supposed to at City Hall. And I said, man, you know, I told him what happened. And he told me I was good. Okay, he said. He called me back later and told me the fine was deleted. But I couldn't go to the park for a year because I was one of the people up there that was keeping up. That was giving trouble up there. I don't sell drugs in the park. I don't. And he said, well, you got charges pending. My charges, my attorney done told me been dropped because when they came to my house, it wasn't real drugs. It was FDLE dropped the charges because the drugs wasn't real drugs. And they came to my house and somebody keep harassing me and putting the police on me. But that ain't got nothing to do with this.
Right. Yeah.
This is about me plugging a bike in at the park. Right. I don't want to get off the subject.
Right.
But I'm just saying, he called me back and told me I was one of the troublemakers, so he took you still got the year. After you told me that it wasn't, that I was good. That I was good.
Yeah.
You know, and I just don't like the fact that I can just get kicked out the park that easy without, you know, is that true? I mean, is that how?
You guys also got to understand, this is the first I'm hearing of any of these situations.
And it's my first time.
And I definitely don't like what you're saying.
It's my first time.
I don't think that that's the right outcome for you or for any others that have been trespassed from the park, if that's in fact all that was going on was you were trying to plug something in. You're unaware of the policy. I don't think that's a good policy or a good idea, and that's certainly conversations that I would hope that our city manager and our police chief would have together and discuss, because that doesn't sound like the correct outcome.
But I went through the protocol.
I don't want to keep you out of the park that you've been going to since you were a kid.
And I filed a complaint. I went through the protocol, what y'all tell us to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I guess it don't apply to me.
Again, I think we really got to get together between these folks here and have a conversation about that's not really the right outcome.
You know, it really should be, a more of a, unity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In this community, like that it shouldn't be where people could just come. I could show you on my phone. He pulled me over for 4 days straight after that. 4 days in a row. How can you find me and find some type of traffic violation I'm doing on an electric bike? Of course, when I see you, I'm gonna do something crazy because you're making me nervous. Because you keep running down on me. I'm nervous.
Right. Sure, I understand.
And he said, well, he's building up something to use something. But I promise you, I told him, I ain't going back to prison. I'm not. And that's it. I'm not going back. And that's how I feel. And I'm sorry I took up y'all time.
No,
but
I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you telling us about that story.
I appreciate
I was unaware of it.
And I appreciate you listening, but I want to go back to the park. I've been kicked out for
I want you to go back.
I didn't even get a chance. I just want a chance. If you give me one chance, I won't plug that bike in no more.
I believe you.
I promise.
I believe you. And I think everyone else should too.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, how y'all doing? Mayor, this is my first time seeing. I like the comment that you said
If
that
you
we
could just
need
tell
to
us your
get
name.
together. My name is Sam Musgrove.
Thank you, sir.
You said we need to get together and come into some kind of agreement with this. And this is my first time seeing. I like that from what you said. But like he said, we came up from around here at all these parks, at Seabreeze, and over there playing baseball. That kept us out of trouble. That kept us when our mothers, can pay for that. You go somewhere and you beat somebody. But now we got all these, you got to pay for it. You got mothers that can't pay for that, and what their child gonna do? They gonna get in trouble or find some kind of way to get in trouble, right or wrong. We know that. So we trying to come up with this. When you take a park from this, I've been at that park, everybody know about May Day, right?
Yeah.
May Day, and at the same time, we got to get dividends to May Day to pay for the electric. But who pays for the electric? The citizens pay for the electric. So ain't it a right for the citizens to have some of that to come in there and enjoy their people right there and have a picnic with their people? That can't be asking too much for one park out of all these parks and everything that's been took away. Name me one black historical place that's still here except that park. You can't name me that. And that's a shame. These people ain't got nowhere but to go to celebrate. But at that park, and now you're just taking this away from us? Like you said, we got to come around and sit down and make this happen. Yeah. And I know I'm not coming up here and trying to get on this. We got to do something. And this police brutality. We have a rebel out here. Yeah. Everybody know who the rebel is. That's why they're here for.
Shane Mooney.
Everybody know who his name is. We done went to the police department, the captain, and back to back. Can you get somebody else to patrol our area except him? Why does he got to patrol our area? Why does he got to come into a business place where he know that black people at and flex his muscle? Hey, officer, you got it. Can we get some understanding with that? Where's the chief at?
Right there.
Hey, how you doing, Chief? My name is Sam Musgrove. And would like to be sit down and talk to you. We got a problem. These are citizens protective. We got you, man. We ain't gonna let that happen like that. We called 911 too about our children. We got a problem here, man. We do, and that's all the time I want to take up. But thank y'all for listening to me.
Thank you, sir. I would just like to say one thing as well, something you said earlier in it, and I hope that you are able to sit down with Chief Page,
yes,
and I would certainly encourage that as well,
yes,
to have that conversation,
as the mayor,
especially if there's just one officer that's been a little bit of a thing.
They'll tell you.
I think that could be something that you guys can
Let's
come
look at
together.
the complaints.
Yes, sir. I would just like to mention that this year, our city manager, through my working with Mr. Reggie Stockton, who I'm pretty sure you know.
Yes, I know him well.
Reggie reached out to me, I reached out to Jason, put them in contact so that we would waive the fees of the park rental for May Day. So this year you can feed on Sunday more people in the community without having to pay that fee to the city.
That is awesome.
The electrical situation is the electrical situation, and that's the way it is at every park all the
pay
time.
for it.
All the time. So, I mean, short of putting a meter out there where you could stick dollars or quarters or debit cards in, I don't know that that's going to change. But again, that's something that we can talk about. We can come up with unique ideas.
We got White Sands. We're a beautiful place, and we keep it that place.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely. I love the park. I was at May Day. I've been every year for the past however many years. I love it.
Okay.
But the electrical thing is a different situation, and hopefully we can come up with something.
Yeah, we need to.
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Anyone else wish to speak?
Yes, sir. I heard you say about the electric. Who pays for that? Taxpayers or just a one person?
And it's obviously all taxpayers.
Right.
So all taxpayers that use that park, all taxpayers that use other parks, et cetera, et cetera.
And you said the landing also has locks on this. Where
it does, yeah.
I was just at the landing after Bowlegs. There's a dude out there playing music, plugged in and everything, about 10 o'clock at night.
I mean, it's an event.
Oh, yeah, but nobody was there. That's what I'm saying. It's me and my woman. We was walking tonight.
When was that?
That was at 10 o'clock at night, Saturday night. 10 o'clock.
Well, that was Bowlegs.
Nope, it was supposed to be closed, but Bowlegs was over. This dude was just playing his music, just chilling, plugged in and everything, amplified. It was good music, too. Yeah, but still, that's my point I'm making is,
yeah, I agree with you. We want it to be the same across every park all the time. I agree with you.
You got these people in Mooney Road, they got park, they stay. Then you got the people over here on homes, they got a certain amount of money come in. So I guess the most people, the taxpayer pay the money, the most, they can get the most out of the park, like the
Definitely should not be that way.
And the water be cut off next or something? You think the water get cut off? Soon?
The park?
Yeah.
The water?
Yeah, you think it'll get cut off as well? I mean,
did the water at Chester Brewer Park get shut off?
Yeah, because I mean, I work at the city, right? I told you. Right. And I've had to stop my job and go get the key just to open up the bathroom because they wouldn't open the bathroom for people to use the bathroom at that park. I had to do that 2 times. It's embarrassing to show up at your city and people know you work for the city and you got to do this.
I agree.
Stop showing people. Just because of the way you look and how much money you got, you get more approval. Just stop showing the world that. This is not a political place. This is it's Florida. This ain't Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Tennessee. It's Florida. Ain't no Bible Belt here. Ain't even no Civil War came through this mother sucker. But you want to try to treat, so don't do that. It ain't going to work. Y'all can get on the benches just by the works your folks did. You got to live what y'all did. So once you show us the work that y'all can do for us, can we pay y'all the money? You can keep going up on taxes, we can't stop it. We just pay it or either get the hell on. Right? I appreciate y'all listening to us, coming out. Hopefully we see some change. But this president, police officers, people they keep hiring, that ain't gonna fly, man. We all people. Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir, thank you. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, council members.
Please tell us your name and address.
Yes, it's Bobby Patel. A few years ago, the council passed an ordinance, 1927, which was to reduce water and wastewater impact fees by 75%. Because of that ordinance, I was able to successfully build a hotel, actually next door to here. Without that, it would have been very difficult. I'm asking the council to reenact it, or what's the word? I'm sorry. It ran out. It was a 2-year.
Do it again.
Do it again. There you go. For a project that I'm an owner of, which is the old Landmark project downtown Fort Walton. It's going to be a Live Smart by Hilton Hotel. Today, interest rates, insurance, property taxes, everything's skyrocketed. This would help a lot, not just to me, but to bring new business to this area. I'm asking that you guys would consider bringing it back to life. Doing it again, that's the word. Yep, that's about it, really.
Well, thank you, Mr. Patel, and thanks for what you have done and what you have built in the community, and look forward to future projects. And I know that our council will hopefully consider doing that again, as
Appreciate
I
it.
so eloquently put it.
Thank you, guys.
Anyone else from the public wish to speak on any item that's not on the agenda tonight? Seeing none, we will move on to item 10, resolutions, and specifically resolution 2026-10, a resolution supporting the Around the Mound project funding. Mr. Davis.
Yeah, so this is, we've been waiting on this since October-ish, I think. We've already discussed moving forward. I just was waiting on the physical invoice, if you will, from FDOT. So we have that, and they've so graciously given me 14 days to respond on whether or not we want to hold our slot. I did speak with the county last week, and they're still honoring the $675 or plus or minus, whatever that agreed upon amount was. And if we're moving forward, it's going to come out of half-cent sales tax, and that's it. That's where I'm at.
Thank you, sir. Questions from the board on this for Mr. Davis? Mr. Walker.
Thank you for compiling all of this. I mean, the history of it's well documented and laid out here, so that's always helpful. But man, what a whole lot of information this is. I'm just, just curious, because I know that we're about to fund potentially a $2.7 million here from taxpayers. It's going to go back to the state, and there's been various expenditures prior from other studies and whatnot. Has anybody got a grand total from start to finish on how much has been spent thus far on this project? Because I mean, it's hard to keep up with it all.
I'm sure we can compile that, but I don't have it at hand. We knew this figure back when we voted on it the first time.
Sure.
I was just waiting on the physical document.
Yeah.
But what this does for the city, it keeps the Around the Mound project in the queue, and nobody can leapfrog. So Orlando can't come up with some super cool project next week and get ahead of us. We stay number 4. So there's the 98 project and the 285s, or maybe I got that flip-flopped, but that keeps us number 4 in the queue for the state.
And I think in one of the previous providings to us, information package you provided to us, staff provided to us, there was a timeline that was laid out, and I don't know if it was set in stone or if it was fiction or might be kind of stuff, but it seemed like, because people often ask me, well, when is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? And that kind of stuff. And so I try to have a little bit of information about it. And is there a timeline? It seems like 2035 was a number I recall.
If the stars align.
If the stars align, 2035 would be the approval.
Start turning dirt.
2035.
So things that could potentially delay that, right, are purchasing businesses and homes within the right of way. There's going to be some design. We have another chance to input design elements, even though they've selected 1A. I had the response today, great, but we would still like some input, and they've been amenable to that. So 2035, assuming everybody plays nice and we don't have a huge design requirement, that's your...
So, and along that line, on those 1 or 2 overpasses that were, they gave approval or said, here's the design, and we had to make an emergency reaction to say, hey, we don't want it all at ground level. We want...
That's 1B. Well, it's 1A's ground level. That's what they're moving forward with.
They're moving forward with 1A.
And 1B was the overpass. Not going to happen. It's almost double in price now. And I'm sure by the time 2035 rolls around, it'll be quadruple. But that's where we have some input on whether or not we want an extra stormwater, whatever. I don't know, sky's the limit right now, but those are the sorts of things that'll delay that potentially. But
yeah, and so thank you for the offering of the grand total. I would love for all of us to see what it is from from the beginning to where we are currently, just to get a, grand total so far. It's hard to keep up with it after it goes so long. Thank you, Jake. Mr. Smith.
Thank you, sir. Other questions? Mr. Jeter.
Mr. Gold, what is the fund balance of the half cent right now?
I think it's about 7 million. That's off the top of my head.
Yeah, I looked at it the other day.
No.
But coming off that is also the Hollywood Boulevard?
What do you mean? Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you've got Hollywood Boulevard.
That 3 million, the strategy here is the half-cent sales tax refreshes every month, right? To a degree. And by the time we get to October-ish, when that's ready to start moving forward, we'll have some of that replenished, and we don't have to pay that all up front. So we're cool.
We get about a little over 2 million a year right now for half cent.
So this isn't going to affect that project at all? Got it.
Unless it does. We're good.
Anyone else from the board with questions? Anyone from the public wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, council, you wish to take any action tonight?
Mayor, so moved. Staff's recommendation.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Schmidt, seconded by Councilman Jeter to move forward with Resolution 2026-10 per staff's recommendation. Any additional comments?
Yeah, I appreciate Jason and Nicole and their team, as well as our friends from the county as well, to work on this. This is a project that not only impacts the city of Fort Walton Beach, it impacts region, definitely countywide. So thank you, Mr. Coffey and y'all's team there. We're going to keep advocating. Hopefully y'all will as well. Our state delegation, with our next legislative session coming up, let's keep knocking on this door and try to get the state to continue to support it financially. But that's my comments, Mr. Mayor, why I chose to support it.
All right, anyone else? Mr. Jeter.
Piggybacking off those same reasons, this is a restricted fund that is supposed to be used for projects like this. This is infrastructure projects that is sales tax that's paid by everybody that is supposed to be used to fund projects like this. I think it is also coming up for renewal soon, and I hope that everybody will vote for it because it's been great. We've been able to accomplish a lot of great projects with it, and it's a small amount of money paid by some locals, some out-of-town visitors, but it ends up being a large amount of money that we can do some great projects with. So hopefully when it comes back to the ballot box, we will support it again because it's been a great source of funding.
Couldn't agree more. Anyone else?
Just looking for a refresher on looking at that TRIP grant. I do remember that coming here and being hopeful that we would get it, and then we weren't awarded it. What was, and back to being number 4 on the state, and
we can just keep applying for it.
Yeah, okay. What was the reason? Okay, thank you. What was the reason for the denial that this, because TRIP is that a state or a federal money?
Well, I mean, they don't tell us, hey, we didn't approve it because of this. They just value whatever projects at whatever value they rank them. Okay. They don't send us a thing that says you were rejected because you filled out the form wrong, or we don't like it, or anything like that. They just pick the ones they can pick with whatever money they've got, and that's what we got this time.
What does TRIP stand for?
I don't remember.
Okay.
There's too many acronyms to remember them all, but
yeah. Transportation,
something.
Infrastructure.
Could be anything. Yeah. Make up anything that starts with those letters.
It's in here somewhere.
Could be right.
Transportation,
region,
something.
Transportation Regional Incentive Program.
Yeah, can somebody, for real?
What's wrong? I didn't hear you, sorry.
I just don't need a curse walking out the door. I thought we had a good conversation, et cetera, but that's just not the way to do it. So, anyway, continue, I'm sorry.
That's right,
Transportation Regional Incentive Program.
And that's a state managed fund.
Yeah, all the TPOs across the state are competing for that pot of money. The Transportation Planning Organization, I didn't know that acronym. Transportation Planning Organization consists of Okaloosa and Walton for this district. And there's about 16 or 17 TPOs across the state where they're all competing for those TRIP grants. Our program was one of many. Only so many get issued out. My understanding is we're reapplying every year and trying to get that funding. That's the TRIPs.
Gotcha. Thank you.
All right, council, please vote. And it does pass 6-1. That brings us to item 11.1, or I'm sorry, Schmidt, you moved that other one up, right? 13.4. Brings us to item 13.4, a request for authorization to draft and negotiate an extension of workforce housing funding agreement for 28 and 30 Wyndham Avenue Southeast. Go ahead, Mr. Gibson, I'm sorry.
Mr. Mayor, Council, Tim Gibson, Growth Management Director. So I figured I'd just bring the background on this one and then let the actual applicants come up and explain their reasoning behind this. So Beth, April 22nd of last year, Greater Peace Missionary Baptist Church did come before the city regarding the reverter clause removal on there. They'd also been previously approved or earmarked for workforce housing incentive funding for the project that they were doing there, where they were going to be providing 8 units of workforce housing and get the incentive funding behind that one. On June 10th, City Council did approve an agreement and it was signed in with the Greater Peace Missionary Baptist Church to basically approve the reverter clause, but then it also put some contingencies on the workforce housing incentive funding. The first requirement on there was that they would obtain a development order for the development from the city within 12 months of the effective date of the agreement, and that they would also procure a development agreement for the development within 24 months of the effective date. So the effective date was, like I said, last June. We're rapidly approaching there. Jenkins Engineering did reach out and scheduled a pre-application meeting with our staff. That's the first step in a development order process. Once they submit it, it could be 3-4 months for that developer order actually fully processed. So at this point, basically, there's no way that could get processed through and be issued before this would expire from the 12 months on there. Like I said, they did come in for the pre-application. That is the first step. We have not received the actual application yet on there. The agreement, like I said, that also had the restrictions on there. It does have a clause in there under paragraph 7 that says the Greater Peace Missionary Baptist Church may request in writing an extension of time to satisfy the conditions outlined in paragraph 1. Due to unforeseen economic hardships, the city may at its sole discretion grant reasonable extensions based on provided evidence demonstrating economic hardship. I do know that Mr. Cebu Williams did email out all the council members, kind of with some background on there. I know Mr. Jenkins is here as well from the engineering firm. And with that, staff respectfully recommends the City Council either approve or deny the drafting of the workforce housing funding extension for the proposed development. And if it is approved for that extension, we'll work with Mr. Burns to draft up that formal extension paperwork and bring it back for the formal approval here. But pending any questions?
No, sir. We'll let everyone speak first, and then we'll get to it. Thank you, Mr. Gibson. Mr. Williams, you want to speak, or?
I'll just speak real quickly. Just since we did the pre-application meeting with the city, I'm Scott Jenkins with Jenkins Engineering. Appreciate y'all letting us speak tonight. We actually started discussing this project with the church, Mr. Jennings and Ron, about 1.5 years ago, probably. And when we first got into it, we were reviewing some of the documents that were there, and there was that reverter clause that was in the original documents that said that if they use this piece of property for anything other than parking or a church facility, that it would revert back to the city. So at that time, we told the church that before we move forward with anything, they really need to try to figure that out. So I know that took a while for them to get that done. I know they've had some changes, which they'll much more eloquently be able to speak about within their church that has caused a few delays. But we are currently working with the church to try to get them a development order, and I think Mr. Gibson stated it very well. That's about a 3 or 4 month process. So we would expect to move forward, assuming there's a positive outcome tonight. I know the church people are here to speak too, so I'll let them speak to the situation.
Good evening, Council. Cebu Williams, Chairman of the Deacon Ministry, Greater Peace Missionary Baptist Church, and I certainly do appreciate the opportunity to be heard on this issue tonight. I did submit all of you a document that sort of outlined the issues that the church had ran into as a result of the untimely death of our pastor, Pastor Bowden, at the time. So let me just not try to add to it, but what I provided you was a background material, but I'd like to officially say that we'd like to request an extension of workforce housing agreement deadline due to economic hardship. And so, council members, the Greater Peace Missionary Baptist Church respectfully submits this letter and the accompanying justification memorandum, which you received, to formally request a 4-month extension of the workforce housing agreement deadline to obtain a development order from June 2026 to October 31, 2026, pursuant to paragraph 7 of the agreement, extension due to economic hardship. The church has experienced qualifying economic hardships arising from the unexpected loss of the senior pastor some months prior to the signing of our agreement. And our pastor's loss resulted in significant organizational disruption and financial strain during a critical phase of the agreement. But despite these circumstances, the church has maintained good faith efforts towards fulfilling its obligations under the agreement and has since reestablished organizational and financial stability sufficient to move forward. Full details have been provided to you in an earlier memorandum, and I'm prepared to provide you with supporting documentation of our ongoing efforts from our partners in this endeavor, to include, as we just heard from our engineering firm, Mr. Scott Jenkins, who I haven't even officially met yet, because he's been working with the team that's responsible for carrying this out. Our architectural firm, I have a letter from Mr. Prescott, who's doing the architectural work for us, and on site is also my banker. I brought the banker with me now. Can I borrow some money? Yeah. But my banker is here, and we're working with the banker and our general contractor. I have a letter from my general contractor, Mr. Jeff King. He couldn't be here, but he provided the letter, and I will be happy to provide a letter. In fact, I'll leave a copy with you, Kim, so you'll have all those documents with you. And not only do I have them here with me, I also have some church members. I'm almost ready to have church. Greater Peace, y'all in the house? Yes, sir. Amen, amen. Church is here. We're going to have church tonight, Mayor. But I'd like to introduce Mr. Ron Mayweather. Ron and Mayweather and Lewis Jennings are project officers. Their job is to make sure the building goes up and everything stays intact, and that the church doesn't go broke trying to make it all happen. And Mr. Jennings would have been here, but had some troubles with his eyes, and so he couldn't come in tonight. But he certainly wanted to share his hope to have been here. I also like to introduce this young man right here. His name is Levi Braswell Jr. Now, you've heard that we lost our pastor, and then we've had some struggles since then, and we're now struggling to decide whether or not he might be our next pastor. And I was going to let him pray tonight, David. When you took the chance to pray, I was going to Pastor, get on up there. That'd be a good chance to introduce you to the council.
Sorry, I mentioned before.
Yes.
That smile from that pastor.
You like that? You like this smile better? I thought you might like this smile better. He's finally got a better tone than the one you had last year. Well, anyway, let me say this. So to include, additionally, pursuant to the whereas clause, which states that Greater Peace shall also have the option at any time to outright purchase the immediate release of the reverter clause for the sum of $23,078. The church is prepared to execute that clause within 15 days of the approval of an extension request. In other words, we'll take care of that. Write you a check, Mr. Burns, or I can write it to you, Jason. And take care of that. And lastly, but most importantly, the church is only seeking an extension to complete the development order. We're not seeking to extend beyond phase 2, which calls for the procurement of a development agreement within 24 months of the effective date. And so that date is and will remain as 12 June 2027. So we'll be able to complete it within the time limit. You've given us a 24 months time limit to get to the development agreement. Just need a little bit more time to get to the development order. So, council members, Greater Peace Missionary Baptist Church remains firmly committed to the city's workforce housing initiative, and we fully intend to fulfill its phase 1 agreement obligation by the requested extended deadline of October 31st, 2026. I sincerely thank you and the growth management staff for your time and your thoughtful consideration of this request. As the church authorized representative, that's me, as the church's authorized representative, I'm available to respond to any questions or to prepare any additional information or documentation you may require. And so I do have a signed letter that I will provide to Mrs. Barnes for your records and any other documentation that you may need. I think that our request is not unreasonable, and I think it's a request that has a win-win to it. We'll be providing additional workforce housing for people who come and stay and live in the city at an affordable rate. The city needs that The residents need that. The church, we love to provide shelter for folks, and that's what churches do. You look out for people. And so this short extension, I don't think it harmed anyone, but it certainly helps a lot of us to get to where we need to be. And that's why I asked our partners to be here or to have a letter to show you that we're not just sitting on our hands. We had to do some due diligence. We had to clean up our house a little bit and get things in order. I'm just a deacon, and when you lose a pastor, it's tough. And so it's been a while, and we hope to have that void filled. But I wanted to say to you that these people are sitting behind me, from Deacon Jones over here to Deacon Anthony over here, and Deacon Spikes, and all these sisters here, they're all smarter than me. And they have kept this church alive in this area for a long time. And you know that. We've been over here for 71 years in the city. And we don't plan on going anywhere. I may go somewhere, but this church will be here long after I'm gone. And so I would pray that we could get this short-term extension and move forward with this project.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. And I would also mention that you are here tonight standing before us, and you brought all of these people together. Yet your New York Knicks are tipping off in the Eastern Conference Final.
You know I'm suffering.
Game 1 has started about 6 minutes ago. Yet you're here, so.
But this is worthy of that.
That's what I'm saying. It's clearly you're very passionate about the cause, and I think you should have mentioned that to uplift your sides.
I didn't want to cry, but yes.
Part as well. But the Knicks hat, I guess, does a little bit for it. So. All right, so
moving us up on the agenda.
Thank you, sir. I sincerely appreciate it. Anybody else from your group wish to speak before we start asking questions here? Or
anyone else?
We certainly understand the issues, I think.
I didn't introduce Deacon Spikes over here. He's kind of standing. It looked like he's standing at attention. There's all kind of chairs here. Deacon, sit down. But Deacon Spikes is the chairman of our trustee board, the board of trustees, and so they would ultimately have responsibility over the management of the property and that kind of thing when it's all done. This man, if he becomes our pastor, will be the overseer for everything.
Yep.
So I'll be out of your way, and he'll be making these pitches to you from in the future, if you will.
Thank you, sir. All right, question from the board for Mr. Williams, Mr. Jenkins, Mr. Hayden, or many others. Mr. Jeter.
Mr. Gibson, maybe. How many applicants originally applied for this funding? Do you remember?
So we had a bunch of inquiries at the beginning of this thing, but most of those were not really serious ones. We had people coming in asking for $300,000 for them to build basically a mother-in-law suite in their backyard, and then they would rent that out at workforce rates. Some things like that really just were not.
But to date, how many?
The answer was 3.
I think originally it was 3, right?
There were the 3 original ones that came in pretty much at the same time, and that's when we brought it before council at the time. There was multiple proposals on how that money would be distributed, whether it be equal X number of dollars per door, whether it would be proportional based on the number of units.
Have the other applicants started, or are they need an extension as well?
So the other applicants have completed their development orders. So the Housing Authority was one of the first one to complete their development order and development agreement with that. That's actually going to be coming back to council hopefully next month when they were doing their initial site work for the development out there. They ran into some problems with the soil, so they have to move the building, which requires them to get an amendment to the development.
But none of the other 2 need this extension. They were able to jump through all the hoops, meet all the requirements. I think one of them have we already funded the other ones?
No funding has gone out yet. The other projects, like I said, the one other smaller project, if you will, that one's gone through now. The development order's approved, and I believe they're ready to start work on it, but they've not gotten to the point. So all the funding is supposed to trigger when basically they complete their foundation survey for the property. Once it's already started, we've not gotten to that level.
We agreed to the funding process. Was it Mr. Gray that we agreed to the funding process last time?
That's correct.
He's gotten to the point to where he's ready to start. Got it.
Yep.
If we were, and this may be more of a question for Nicole or Mr. Jason, but if for whatever reason, and I know different things change, just like their status has changed and other people's developments always change, from a city standpoint, we've changed in the last year or 2. We've had quite a few elections with some budget restrictions and some funding. I think we were just in here 2 or 3 months ago talking about money's getting a little tight. Yeah. So if this were money not to be used and it comes back to the city, is there any restrictions on it that we can or can't do with it going forward?
That's actually written into the agreement in there. So in the agreement, section 1 talks about the funding and the requirement for the 12 months and the 24 months. Right underneath of there, it does state in there that failure by GPMBC to comply with the conditions set forth in this section shall result in the forfeiture of the funds, and any and all such funds shall be returned to the city general fund for use per the city council's discretion.
So what would happen is it would go back into the committed workforce housing fund. If council wanted to put it in the unrestricted or the unassigned fund, you would have to, I think it's in Mr. Burns, it would be more of a question, you have to do a resolution to undo that, right?
Just to take a meeting. You know, you wouldn't be able to do it all at once, but you could do it with a simple resolution to move those funds out of it. And so it's not anything though, it's up to y'all basically if y'all decide to do that.
So it could come back to us at a time we could possibly need it, and then we're able to redirect it in other places, should that happen. It's not restricted when it comes back.
Council.
Got it. That's all for now, sir.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to ask 2 quick questions before we call on Councilman Schmidt. One, the other 2 applicants were applicants that do this all the time, correct? As far as construction, building, things of that nature?
The housing authority, I mean, obviously, the housing authority themselves is
the
not typically into the building, but they have a lot of contractors and stuff that are helping with them with this to do this. Correct.
Okay. And then, I forget the other one, so we'll just move on to Councilman Schmidt, and I'll ask you in a minute.
Remember, let me know.
No, I'll wait until you're done.
Mr. Gibson, for you, just just make sure I have a summary of facts and kind of capture the whole picture. So, 2022, looking at my notes, the city developed an ordinance to create the workforce housing fund. Correct. Then in 2023, Greater Peace applied for that funding. And then in 2024, the funding was awarded. Is that correct so far as the timeline of?
It was, I wouldn't say awarded necessarily, earmarked. So council gave the direction on how that would do. The actual awarding of the funding is done through the actual development agreement. That's the formal agreement that you're going to provide X number of units for X amount of time, all this sort of stuff. And in return, staff is going to provide this much funding
so
for
in 2022, the city created an ordinance in the workforce housing. The city created the ordinance in 2024. There was, like, to piggyback off of Councilman Jeters, there's a few developers who applied for it. This was the award letter, call it however we want to, compliance-wise, but it was awarded out to Greater Peace in 2024. We had 2020. Well, last year, I'm getting to the next point of the timeline. In 2025, that's when they came back to us and said, hey, our original development, 18 units or whatever it was on this piece of land that we've had since the 80s or 90s, but we want to remove the deed restriction, the reverter clause, and that's what happened in 2025.
That's correct.
That meeting happened, and that meeting allowed the applicant to develop on the blank canvas without any restrictions and to get to a certain point in a year, correct? So kind of the last 3 years, that timeline, conceptually, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Somewhat of a...
Yes.
Okay. All right. To kind of go off that question that was asked about the budget, I'm going to play devil's advocate. What if the extension was issued, but the milestone wasn't met? I believe the extension is requesting to what, October?
That's correct. The end of October.
Just devil's advocate, this is a budget question. If the milestones aren't met, we're sitting back here in October, November, new budget year's in. What does that do? Are we able to allocate any of those funds towards a 2027 budget?
No, that would be the same thing, like I told Mr. Jeter, you guys would have to come back with a resolution to uncommit those funds, to put it back in the general fund.
So what we're going to tonight is that they get an extension for 3 months to do the things that they said they were going to do over the previous milestone we mentioned. If we do give them the extension, but they don't execute, staff's in the area of, hey, council, I need y'all now to tell me, do y'all want to extend it again or do something with the $600,000? Because we have to direct what to do with that $600,000. Or, this is the question, or tonight, we have to find out if we can not grant that extension, give staff the time to allocate that $600,000 in the budget, or keep it moving with the development. Is that Is that kind of what's up tonight as far as?
Yeah, I mean, council can deny it if you choose to do so, but then staff would have to bring back the resolution for it to actually be able to go back into the unassigned funds.
Okay. If it were not approved tonight, the extension were not approved tonight, does staff have enough time to bring back that resolution to kind of get this $600,000 in 2027 budget?
Yeah, I can bring it back at the next meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. We'll get to you in just a second, Mr. Murrow, because I did remember what I was going to say. Mr. Burns, if the council were to choose to offer an extension of 4 months and say to the group that this time we will extend this for 4 months as you've asked, but now there will be no extension. It is either that or it's it, use it or lose it. Is that something that could be done by the council?
Yeah, we would just put that in the amendment to the agreement.
That there would be no
take out
additional extensions even offered?
Correct. If that's, we all vote tonight by majority vote. If y'all make an extension and put that requirement in there, we'll craft it so the funds automatically are forfeited if they don't hit that mark.
Got you. And Ms. Neighbors, to Mr. Schmidt's point, that money is already in the city's account, restricted. It already exists within the budget year of 2027. It's just that it would move to a different part of.
Right, it rolls over every year since the prior council committed it. Yeah, it's there.
And right now it's earmarked specifically for this purpose, and then the council could untie it,
yes,
so to speak. Okay, thank you.
Mayor, can I point out something?
Not yet, but later. Mr. Merrill.
Are you aware the other two applicants that were mentioned before, have any other concessions been made to help them get through their development, through their process? Is that what I'm speaking of? Is one that we voted on to grant some money early? Is that one of those two applicants?
It is, yeah. So that's the only one that I'm aware of. Now, I will say though also that this is the only one that did have to come back for the reverter clause, and that did delay some things in there with them, because at the time we had to create a process to remove a reverter clause because there was nothing in our code even on how to do that. So we had to create the process to remove it, then go through the process to remove it. And that's what really brought this agreement that they signed last year. This is the only one of the developments that has this type of agreement with those deadlines on there. None of the other had hard deadlines put on them.
For that to come to us and for them to learn it, I mean, I would think that probably took a few months to get through that whole process. Mm-hmm. And then Mr. Williams, you also dealt with the death of your pastor. Mm-hmm. Just to be clear, you said through the benchmarks that you have to meet with this, you want to extend this one, but not the overall.
That's correct.
And what's the final date?
The final date would be June 20. Oh, sorry.
That's right.
The final date would be June 2027, 12 June 2027.
Okay.
That's June 10th. So
well, the signature on there is 12 June, so I was going by the signature on the agreement, but yeah, it's still 2027 in June.
And if you were granted this extension, do you feel very confident that you could, with everything you've learned, with all the work that you've put in so far, with the relationships, that you could get this DO done and
oh, absolutely.
forward the project?
I trust in this gentleman right here, the engineer, who's going to be responsible for making it happen. But yes, that's our whole purpose, is to give him the time that he needs to make sure that, we meet the requirements of the city. And I also like to point out, that paragraph 7 of the agreement that we have, and remember, he said the original was to have this agreement. The other two don't have this agreement at all. They don't have a time limited agreement as we do. But it offers an extension due to economic hardship in the agreement. And it says, quite clearly, it's not mandatory, mandated, but it says Greater Peace may request in writing to extension of time to satisfy the conditions outlined in paragraph 1 due to unforeseen economic hardships. That's what we're doing, is it's complying with the agreement itself. We've replied in writing due to economic hardship. So we're not asking for anything that you haven't given us the ability to seek under the contract itself, contractual terms itself.
I appreciate it.
Okay, sir. Anyone else with questions?
I have a question.
Ms. Riley, go ahead.
Mr. Gibson, my question to you would be, basically, historically speaking, can you tell me, has there been any other contract that the city may have went through where maybe the contractor asked for an extension and was it denied or was it accepted, or has there been, And, you know, will this be a precedent? That's what I'm asking, for the extension to be denied. Or has an extension ever been denied, or has it been agreed upon?
In my time with the city, this is the only like hard deadline for development I've seen.
So this will
and
be the
it's
first?
just specifically because it's got that workforce housing incentive funding. Most developments within the city, they just go through their normal process. We do have expiration dates, so once a development order is issued, it expires after 2 years. So if that developer doesn't go in there, they may request, it's in our code that they may request a 1-year extension. Those ones though don't really give options on there. It's essentially if the developer requests a 1-year extension, it's granted. But it has to be requested by them in writing. So those are the only hard deadlines we really have in regards to development orders. This is just unique because it was the agreement that put that hard deadline on there.
Understandable, but would you say, I'm asking, in the past, have you ever been confronted with any situation in terms of the city partnering and saying we're agreeing to give you a certain dollar amount to get a job completed? Have any changes, any addendums, any of the change orders or anything ever come about where you needed to extend the time frame to get the job, whatever they were contracted with?
I mean, I'm certain, and Nicole might be able to speak better on this, but maybe not. Through the purchasing department, you know, I mean, obviously a lot of purchasing goes out, and we do purchase orders and stuff, and then there's change orders to those types of things in the purchasing world. As far as in the growth management world, this is the only agreement of this type that I've ever been exposed to.
So in other words, this is a unique situation?
Very much so, yeah. Okay. And if I can also to clarify Mr. Williams' response to Mr. Merrill on there, the development agreement is actually a very simple process. It's legal and it goes into there. We have some fairly standardized ones. That process, it can be done in a matter of a month or two. So as far as like getting that development agreement part after the development order is done, we just can't do the development agreement until we have a development order. They can be done together even. So theoretically, this could end up coming back to council for the development order and the development agreement at the same time.
Maybe a different way to look at that from a construction perspective, if it's a city project, right? Contractors would have what's called liquidated damages. If they don't hit certain deliverables, they start accruing fines, but that's a city construction project. So this is not a city construction project. So not apples to apples comparison.
I totally understand that, but I guess I'm just trying to figure out, because I understand these earmarked dollars. I understand that, you know, and I remember when all of this came about on the housing part of it, and very proud of the city to even set aside earmarked dollars, you know, for affordable workforce housing, and that's a great partnership to have. So my question, just wanted to ask, have we ever been dealing or dealt in the past historically, you know, speaking, where something of this nature has arisen, you know, because people ask for extension all the time, you know, whether it be a building contract, you know, contractors, a builder, or whatever not. You know, it could be a mortgage or a car payment. People ask for extension, you put 3-4 months on the back end of the loan. So I'm just asking, and I know this is a different situation, but sometimes, you know,
you could still potentially
it could be direct or indirectly.
And even for a city project, you could still potentially grant an extension for unforeseen circumstances, that sort of thing. So, but again,
that was basically my
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Councilman Walker.
This might be for Ms. Barnes, and it's just you know, it sounds, I think I understand it. You're asking for extension. You've had some issues come up. It's not that complicated to me. It was interesting to hear that if the money came back, it came out of the housing fund, but it would go back in the general fund. So I feel funny about that. I don't have a question about that. But where is I don't have the attachment. I'm not being able to read it. Do you guys have the attachment on yours that says workforce housing funding reverter removal agreement? That would have been helpful to have and follow along here.
I think I read it.
It's attached to mine to the back.
It's attached in there.
Yeah. Where is it?
It was at the part.
I won't touch it. I don't. That's what I'm saying. It's not. I don't mind. Is it on yours? Do you see it on yours? Okay, it's not going to.
It's on page 284.
It's. we can look at that later. I'm good, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
That attachment, though, is just the agreement that was
weird, it just doesn't
ratified
go
last
to it.
June, is what the attachment that's on there, and that's where several of the areas, the key pertinent areas are really paragraph 1 and paragraph 7. Paragraph 1 is the one that established the 12 and 24.
Sure.
And paragraph 1A is the one that talked about if those weren't met, then it would revert back to the general fund. Paragraph 7 is the one that says that they may request in writing an extension of time to satisfy the conditions outlined in paragraph 1, and then the city may at sole discretion grant reasonable extensions based on providing evidence.
Great, thank you.
Yes.
Thank
All right, thanks, sir. Anyone else from the board have questions on this? Does anyone from the public wish to speak on this item? Council, do you wish to, oh, Ms. Barnes.
I gave you the wrong page number. It's 284.
Got it. Yeah, Mr. Burns found it.
Anyone on the board wish to make a motion on this item?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
All right.
To grant the authority to draft and negotiate an extension of 4 months to workforce housing, to the workforce housing funding agreement for 28 and 30 Wyndham Avenue. Second.
Motion made by Councilman Merrill, seconded by Ms. DeBerry.
Before y'all discuss it too much further, Mayor,
Yes, sir.
as a condition of any motion, if y'all want like a condition like what the mayor had suggested, you'll need to add that to the motion. Otherwise, what I'll end up going, if y'all do pass this motion, is we'll just basically do a basic 4-month extension to the agreement.
Right.
And it'll just change, really it's the deadline for that first item. So just clarifying that for you.
Do you want to have my aggressive deadline or no?
No, because I feel like we could make a motion to change it at that moment. I feel like it needs to be understood that we are responsible for the taxpayers' money, and this money, we need to hold to that, and we need to take this extension very seriously, because if it does come back, you don't want it to come back. You know what I mean? Because then you never know how it goes when it comes back. So I would hope that you would take the 4 months. You say you can get it done, we trust you. So to put it in there to where we can remove it anyways, I'm good.
Okay.
I understand. You basically just give them the 4 extra months. That's the biggest.
4 months is going to get done.
I mean, you've made the motion, now do you wish to expound on it at all?
Yes. From business to working in government, it's completely understandable, especially with the things that you mentioned. If you have those things happen, it's in the contract. And I thought you brought up good examples of why it was happening. The mayor brought up a good example of you guys were a church and you're working through this process, and to ask for 4 months, I think it's reasonable. You seem to have done a lot of work and have it lined up to get it done. You didn't ask for an extension on the total project. I think you asked for the bare minimum of what you needed. And I think the council before that you made this deal with, in good faith, we should honor that as long as you're in good faith moving towards it. And if we've put into place things that make it hard for us, the budget going forward, I get that and I see that it looks tempting, but I don't think something that we have now should make us walk back on the past. And so a 4-month extension I think is reasonable, and that's why I moved to grant it.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wish to comment? I saw Mr. Jeter and then Mr. Schmidt.
Yeah, I will not be supporting the motion for some of the questions and concerns I had earlier. I think times change for everybody. Times have changed for the city. And sometimes in life, the other 2 projects have kicked off and are started, and I'm glad they have. I wish this one was already kicked off and started, but sometimes in life, I've submitted for permits and applied for development orders, and my kids have had tests at school, and sometimes deadlines are deadlines, and I think we should stick to it. I don't think we could have got to this deadline and us asked to take the money back 4 months ago. So I don't think there's an extension necessarily needed. I know you guys have been here a lot and given a lot of presentations over the last year, but none of them were about this topic. They were all about maps and rezoning and things like that. So me personally, I think if I had $600,000 of a carrot dangling in front of me, I would have been focused on that a lot more and obtaining a development order to get that money. So I will not be supporting the motion. However it falls, I look forward to seeing the other 2 projects get done or this one getting done. So I love projects being completed. I just will not support extending the deadline.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Schmidt?
Yes, strictly business. I had a great relationship and
God bless his soul. Pastor T.D. Boulder passed away in August of 2024. We heard back from the church in April of 2025 to modify their proposal that was awarded by the city to them back in 2022 to develop townhomes. So depending on what part of the chapter you came in to read this book, but this book has been going on for a while, and I respect the different hardships and things that have come up. And Mr. Mayor, I kind of lean towards the comments you alluded to. This is a developer that doesn't do this for a living. We're in the budget process and the budget cycle, and just the fiduciary responsibility that we all have. If it was our own money, $600,000 is a lot that we can put back in the 2027 budget, whether it's improving parks or whether it's to not raise the millage rate or those kind of things. $600,000 goes a long way. So nothing personal, nothing against the developer. It's just a year ago I said if the milestone's not met, we'd be asking the money back to put for other purposes. So that's why I will be supporting the motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wish to speak? Councilman Walker.
Yeah, sure. I'll definitely be supporting it. I feel so much pity and sorrow for you guys having to work with government on a timeline. Yeah. It's a disaster. It's shameful. And I'm sorry that you lost your pastor. Sorry that you ran into the problems. I'm sorry that you had a reverter clause issue that delayed you. I'm glad we got it settled up here. I'm glad you're going to settle up on that. So, yeah, it bothers me greatly to have to deal with the government. It slows down private development, and working with someone like yourself who's never developed before and these other businesses have. And you've got an agreement with us that granted you the ability to come here and request it, and I'm so glad that you did, and I'm so glad that it's going to come forward for you. So I'll definitely be supporting this wholeheartedly. So I look forward to seeing it come out of the ground. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Walker. Anyone else wish to speak on this? Ms. Riley.
First and foremost, I dearly want to thank Greater Peace Baptist Church for even coming to the city. And those of you who know me, I advocate all the time on workforce housing and affordable housing. And I think it is an honor when we have one of the oldest African American church in the city of Fort Walton Beach to step up and want to make sure that they are a part of the process and want to partner with our city. City government should partner with your local businesses, your local churches, and I say it all the time, a city cannot thrive without partnerships. And so for your church to step up and want to be a part of this city process and want to know that you want to be a part of the economic growth of this city. And we all know that we're facing a housing crisis all over the nation, not only in our little small city here in Fort Walton Beach. We are facing a housing crisis. And for you to step up and want to play a role in your city government and partner as a church, I am totally proud of you guys, and I will certainly 100% support you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else wish to speak on this motion?
Okay, clarifying question.
Sure.
This is just a 4-month extension to deadline number 1, right? The June 10th, 2026 deadline. Okay. I see the applicants also shaking their heads. Yes.
All right. We're all clear. Council, please vote. And the motion is adopted 5-2. Thank you all for being here. Mr. Williams, you'll be pleased to know that the Knicks currently hold a 14-13 first quarter lead. It's early, sir.
And Mayor, so the motion that passed, just it'll probably be on the consent agenda, I'm guessing, but the agreement will be on the next agenda for y'all to approve.
Right.
The amendment.
Yes, sir. Councilman Schmidt, you gotta go.
I'm gonna stay. I think we got that county
Yeah, we'll give everyone a moment to clear out. with you after the meeting.
We'll see the
If you can wait that long. Or I can give you my number. You wanna give me a call?
Well, that's the last thing.
Yeah, come on up. Sir, I'm very serious about what I said. I don't hear that. Well, I can't. I'm just a mayor. I'm not. But we can make it happen. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mayor, after the ordinances, can we take a breather? Okay. After the ordinances.
I mean, we can. I will be leaving here by 8:45, hell or high water, as I have to get to Publix and get a prescription for my cracked rib that has had me in a severe amount of pain this evening. But yes, we'll take a break and then we'll see what happens. But we'll move to 11.2 right now, I believe.
11.1.
Oh, I'm sorry, 11.1. My bad. Trying to move us forward faster. Ordinance 2214, Mr. Burns.
Ordinance 2214, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Fort Walton Beach, Florida, authorizing the disposition of real property located south of FWB Fire Training Facility Center, large asphalt pad, and north of Lewis Turner Boulevard. Tax parcel IDs 26-1S-24-0000-0001-0040 and 26-1S-24-0000-0001-0030, excluding the City Fire Training Center, and authorizing and directing closure by the mayor, city manager, city attorney, and city clerk, and provide for an effective date. This is first reading on this ordinance.
So real quick, I mean, this is just step 2, right? We talked about the parcels being swapped between the county and the city. So this is the next step. We did not get any over market offers. So this is where we're at. County has already passed their resolutions, documents, whatever you call it. The only thing that's missing is I need the, forgot the term, but it's basically the surveyor's description of the property.
The meets and bounds legal description.
I'm sorry?
The meets and bounds legal description.
That's what I said?
Yeah.
And so as soon as we have that, that would formalize it. They're working on it now with the county surveyor. But otherwise, this is just regrouping on swapping that property. So we have control of Midtown, and the county, I believe, wants to do the World Series of pickleball type thing there. So.
Wow.
Questions, thoughts, comments? Mr. Coffey's here if you have any questions.
And we will, I guess, the only thing, we'll need that legal description before the second reading. So if they don't get that to us, we can't pass the ordinance.
Yeah, I would put it on a meeting where we have it in our faculty hands, right? So that's all I'm waiting on.
Questions for Mr. Dalos on this one?
Sure.
Mr. Walker.
One quick one, because that acreage up there in exchange for the hospital property down here, we had no plans for the property up north. What are our plans for the property at the hospital?
You tell me.
Okay, gotcha. So didn't need it, but we're going to swap it.
Correct. There was a request from the county to build the World Series of pickleball, and then we now have control of our Midtown, and sky's the limit on what you guys decide, and I'll execute whatever that mission is.
Gotcha.
Councilman Schmidt.
Yeah, to piggyback off that, I would just like to plant the seed in the form of a question. You know, if this were to pass, which I'm very hopeful it does, can we set up an agenda item to whiteboard and discuss, what the plan is? Because I plan on supporting this based off of the agenda packet information, but let me stop there. That question of, can we set up a separate item to discuss not only with the council, but the community on what needs to go there?
Yeah, a workshop can be scheduled anytime. That's probably the most appropriate thing to do.
Okay, set the workshop on it. Okay, so I'm for that. And then the final question is the land swap. You said the county's already good on their end?
Correct.
And we just got to get that meets and bounds for the second reading, and then we're good. And then we could possibly have a workshop sometime this.
I want a slow play our workshop.
Sure,
We've got a budget workshop coming up.
That's why I was saying, even if it's an agenda item.
Yeah, I'm looking maybe October-ish.
Okay.
For a number of reasons, but I just don't want to bog us down right now.
Okay. I'll stop there with the questions.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Berry.
Yes, I have a question concerning the land swap. We're providing pristine property at the fairgrounds, correct? Clean?
I don't know about
It has some picnic table, concrete structures with
Yeah.
that.
The swap that we're looking at where the old hospital was on Hospital Drive, it needs cleaning up. There's a lot of cleaning up that we need to do. So I don't know if this is the appropriate time to ask the question, but I think we might be getting
bamboozled?
I was going to say dumped on.
No,
Bamboozled or whatever you want.
I kind of disagree, and here's why I say that. The parcel that we're potentially getting is more value, right? And part of the strategy will be going forward is I can use CRA funds to finish that, make it shiny, and I think it's a win all around for both parties.
Well, whenever you put it that way, we can use the CRA fund. I thought that there was a certain area that the CRA
That's in the CRA.
Is it in the CRA?
I've already done the homework.
Okay, good. Because I was thinking it was, but I needed to hear it, and I wanted it in writing online here, that we can clean it up, use that funding to clean that property up.
Another reason I want to wait till October.
There you go. Do you give me money?
Correct.
Oh, but I needed to hear it.
Got you covered. Strategery, I like it.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else with questions? Seeing none, anyone from the public wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, council, you wish to take any action?
Mayor, so moved to approve ordinance 2214 on first reading and schedule the ordinance for the second reading so that the closing can move forward on the land swap with the county. Second.
Excellently stated motion by Councilman Schmidt to approve ordinance 2214 has been seconded by Councilman Browning. Any additional comments?
Yes, quickly, to kind of respond to Mr. Walker and Mr. Berry, the plan, right? Very conceptual. None of us have a unilateral plan. But for some of the questions you asked are the reason why I'm heavily interested, because of what we are able to do to clean it up with the CRA funds. And hopefully, I'm planting this seed as we get into the meat of hopefully a workshop, assuming this passes, is that we can solicit it to the marketplace so that hopefully they can clean it up. You know what I mean? So that we can maybe even use CRA dollars somewhere else and other things. But y'all know me in proposals. We don't know until we have the land and then solicit the marketplace. And I really like the vibrancy that Midtown has been going on the last 5 or 10 years. And this piece right next to the Department of Health and the Bridgeway really gives us an opportunity in the private marketplace, hopefully. So soliciting maybe the 5 or 6 people that may be watching, after this ink dries, we get a workshop, we whiteboard it, and hopefully solicit it to the private marketplace so they can add to that vibrancy. We don't really spend $1.
Thank you, sir.
That's why I made the motion.
I would just like to add to that Mr. Merrill's mom is watching.
Awesome.
Mr. Berry, you wanted to add something?
No, I appreciate it, but I needed to hear it out loud and to the public that what we're doing with this land swap. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, I appreciate that.
That's it. This is the only time we can talk, so I respect that.
Yes, sir. Anyone else? Seeing none, council, please vote. Don't make me break a tie now.
Or wear one.
There, see?
It does pass unanimously. And Councilman Schmidt, you are excused.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Coffey.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, sir. That brings us to item 11.2, ordinance 2211, amending the LDC. Mr. Burns and then Mr. Gibson.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Fort Walton Beach, Florida, amending Land Development Code Section 4.01.02 Residential Design Standards to remove minimum roof pitch and overhang requirements, provide for authority, provide for severability, and provide for an effective date. This is first reading, it's quasi-legislative, and Mr. Gibson is presenting on behalf of staff.
Mr. Gibson.
Again. So this is just another one you guys have seen. We've been bringing a couple of LDC amendments every council meeting, pretty much trying to we've had a list of things that we just need to get cleaned up in there. A lot of these are based off of just real world experience that we have when we have a few people coming in and the code's kind of prohibiting some developments. We really look to see is that restriction in there for a real valid reason, or is it just something that we need to look at changing on this one. So over the past couple of years, we've had several residential designs come in our land development code. It does have very specific restrictions in there is that all residential roofs or residential structures must have a 312 pitch roof, and they have to have at least a 3-foot overhang on their roofs on there. Several of the designs, I mean, just different architectural styles. We've had a few come in wanting to do flat roofs, and even one that was one of the concrete poured buildings that is built to withstand like Cat 5 hurricane. They had to go through the actual variance process through our local planning agency to be approved to do that development just because of that 312 pitch roof requirement in there. The Florida Building Code does regulate, all the different, there's different roofing materials that are allowed on 312 pitch roof versus the lower slope roofs and stuff. There has to be rolled roofing versus shingles, some stuff on there. So, I mean, Florida Building Code allows for these lower pitched roofs. It's just right now our code just does not allow for that. So this is simply a change to, we're requesting to remove the 312 pitch requirement and the 3-foot overhang on there. With that, staff does respectfully recommend the City Council adopt Ordinance 2211, which amends Land Development Code, Section 4.1.2, Residential Design Standards to remove minimum pitch and overhang requirements.
Thank you, sir. Questions on this item for Mr. Gibson? Anyone from the public wish to speak on this item? Council, do you wish to take any action tonight?
Mr. Mayor, so moved. Staff's recommendation.
Second. A motion made by Councilman Merrill, seconded by Councilman Browning to approve Ordinance 2211. Any additional discussions?
Real quick, I spoke to someone in the office way back when, and they said the LDC, the red tape, the things we have to do, it used to be this thick and now it's this thick. It's so encouraging to see you guys doing the work of walking things back that just cause things that were there for a reason at the time, but they don't need to be there anymore. So really, really appreciate the work that you guys are doing to bring those things to clean that up.
Anyone else? Council, please vote. It does pass unanimously. It brings us to Ordinance 2213, Mr. Burns.
Ordinance 2213, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Fort Walton Beach, Florida, amending Land Development Code Section 9.01.02, pre-application conferences required, provide for authority, provide for severability, and provide for an effective date. Mr. Gibson will present on behalf of staff, and this is his first reading.
Mr. Gibson.
Thank you. So this is another LDC amendment. Unlike the other one, this isn't cleaning up stuff on there. This actually is a new iteration from a bill that was passed this year through the Florida Senate, or Florida Legislature. In there, they basically changed and they added that developers can actually go to an independent firm and have them do basically the compliance study for like development orders and some things like that, unless there's a process developed by the local municipality where we can do that prior to them formally applying for like a development order. Staff would like to keep that in-house. There is a process in the Florida statute where we can offer that service. Currently we have a pre-application requirement, I mentioned it earlier with the workforce housing one, that typically the engineer or the owner or developer comes in and they sit down with staff. We go over all the requirements are. What this does is add an ability in there that after that meeting they can submit all of their design plans to us, and we can basically pre-certify them. So basically we do the review of all their submitted plans before they do the formal application in there. There's a few benefits for that, but it would be probably rarely used here. The converse though is if we do not pass this and institute something like this, we have to basically create a list of firms that are able to go through and do the review for us. And according to Florida statute, if we go that route, then we're not even allowed to review it. We have to take those reviews as 100% accurate. There's no staff review at that point just to make sure that they followed all the rules and that they met all of our land development code requirements. So we really want to keep that in-house just so that we can make sure that these things are actually following our code and the requirements in there. So what this does is basically establishes a process for the city to be able to provide those services. It really doesn't require us to develop any new processes or anything. It's the same site plan review right now. We already have an established site plan review fee that would just run independent of the actual development order process versus running concurrently with it. This statute does come basically out of, there's a lot of places in the state where it can take years for a development order to actually get processed through. Many municipalities, counties are very backed up. It can take them 6-8 months to do a review of an application or of a submittal, and that's where they kind of built this in there so that those developers can actually kind of expedite their process a lot instead of waiting months and months for a review to actually happen. Our typical review time from application to completion for a development order is about 3 to 4 months. So we're way faster than that. Like I said, I don't know that we're going to have too many people wanting to pay an external person to do this anyways. So this is where we can just basically streamline this, keep it in-house, and keep providing the services that we have. And with that, staff respectfully recommends that the City Council adopt ordinance 2213, which amends the Land Development Code, section 9.1.2, pre-application conference required to include provisions for a pre-application review to meet requirements in a newly created section 163.3169 of Florida statutes.
Sorry for prematurely cutting you off there, Mr. Gibson. Questions for Mr. Gibson on ordinance 2213, Mr. Merrill?
Is this one way or another with the statute that passed? They have to either go to an outside or, like, would they have to if the city didn't form this?
If we don't offer this service, we have to allow them to go external and do this beforehand. So by establishing this process in here, the city does not have to allow that to happen anymore. So basically it is an either or. We either establish what we've created here, and a lot of this is just straight out of Florida statute, what the requirements are in there, we just mirrored in our code. So we either provide that service or we have to allow externals to do those reviews.
And to build on that, we actually have to maintain the list.
Correct.
And that could be problematic too. The city would pick the contractors who are on that list, and so really that gets a little questionable at that point.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions?
So by maintaining it in-house,
Mr. Walker?
Mr. Mayor, by maintaining it in-house, as suggested here, a person won't be able to go get a contractor to do those services?
That's correct.
Okay. And then there's obviously staff time and budget associated with us maintaining it inside. So, you know, I was just sitting here listening to it, making sure I understood it right. It just seems weird that we wouldn't want to allow a homeowner, a developer, a builder, whoever it is to, it seems odd that they can't choose between them or you or us.
Right. So staff's concern on there, well, one, for the budget process in there are fees that the city charges for doing those site plan reviews. Obviously, if they're done by an external force, we would not be allowed to charge those fees. So basically, we do charge the fees for the staff time that is spent doing the reviews on there for each of these developments. The staff's bigger concern, however, is though that we have to take these things sight unseen. We're not allowed to review them for anything. So even if we get them in and it's like, oh wait, that's a violation of our code, we cannot say anything with it. We have to accept them as is because they're certified by a third party. And that's the one thing that staff really is just kind of worried about. Our codes can get very complicated, and if you don't understand or you don't know exactly where you're looking, and we run into this all the time. So, I mean, that's where even like, you know, like Mr. Jenkins here, him and I were whispering over there when it was a 4-month extension. It's like, okay, we're going to have to really work quickly. You're going to have to turn things quickly to us, because even he does work in the city all the time, and there's still stuff we find in there that he misses in the code, or he didn't realize part of that was in the code or something. It's just, that's what that check and balances is. So just to have some external person who is not that familiar with our code, because that's not their day in and day out job. Right now, that's my planner's jobs, is to know that land development code inside and out. So when they do these reviews, they make sure that it's meeting all of our requirements.
Yeah, just it's still not registering with me. That so you're saying that person, that certified third party out there that's billing instead of the city billing them, they can turn in anything.
Correct.
And you can't say anything about it.
That is 100% correct.
Where does that come from? I mean, I'm going to have to see. I'm going to have to see that, because that just sounds so foreign. It sounds impossible. I mean, I turn in a Cracker Jack box.
There's a parallel one to this. That'll have to be, there really doesn't give the city an option on that one, but they can actually now start hiring their own building plan reviewers and building inspectors. and they can choose to have their own people go out and do their own inspections, and our building officials can't go out and even inspect the things.
I like that.
These are the different things in, well.
I like that. I mean, it's the private sector providing a private service for, you know, the insurance companies will dictate in that. So, yeah, I think for the first one, this first one you brought before us, Land Development Code, I was all in favor of it because it's deregulating.
Sure.
This one's increasing regulations. I'll be opposing this motion when it comes. Has the motion been made? Or okay.
We're just asking questions.
Okay, so, yes.
Gotcha.
Thank you, sir.
Councilman Merrill, real quick.
For clarity, somebody could hire an outside source if you do this, if they so wish to help them consult through the process.
Oh, 100%.
But you would still be able to. So that's where I'm okay with it. I do tend to side with you on that, but my understanding is if you don't do it, they have to go to people that you so choose that they could go to, and then you have the problems. If you do create this, then they have the opportunity to hire an outside contractor, consultant to help them through the process, but you guys still have a hand in it to make sure that it's being done.
You lose discretion if you don't get this in place by July 1st.
Right, and so that's where I would...
If we don't do this though, just to clarify one thing on there, we can still do the reviews. We just have to allow them to have that third party that we're not able to validate. So most people could still come in and say, I want to go through our normal process that we have right now. It wouldn't force them to go to that third party. It just allow them the ability to go to that third party, and then the city has no possibility of reviewing that any further.
And there's like cities like Laurel Hill that exist that this is going to be helpful for because they don't have any of this stuff in place already. So there's some smaller cities that don't already have Mr. Gibson and his department. And so.
Gotcha.
Ms. Riley, you have a question?
I'm thinking where you're going with it is the city would actually claim more ownership, right?
No,
the process, or is that
really by
something in terms of a better attribute for the city to have their own internally?
So right now we do everything internally and everything. This really basically enshrines what we're doing right now today as what we're going to continue doing into the future. The Florida statute changed basically to say if we don't do this, we're giving up some of the control over those reviews.
That's what I'm saying.
We have to let those other ones, but this is going to keep it as is today, where we own the reviews. We are the ones validating that they're following our code. It's going to be exactly the same as it is today. Really, this just gives them the opportunity to go through that review process before the formal application for the development order. I honestly don't see that as being utilized very much. There's very few benefits to it. Like I said, the only reason I think some people could do is, there's some extra fees and stuff that go on. They might want to see, are these plans going to be valid and good before I go down that road? That would really be about the only time I could see this being used. But this does give us ownership and control over the entire process.
All right. Anyone from the public wish to speak on this item? Council, do you wish to take any action tonight?
Mr. Mayor, I move for the council adoption ordinance number 2230.
Motion made by Councilman Browning, seconded by Councilwoman DeBerry to approve ordinance 2213 on first reading. Any additional comments?
No, sir.
Anyone down here?
Just a question to staff.
Just a statement. Now you can state whatever you want.
Now I get a statement. Okay, so how would I state this?
I hate this.
Yeah.
This thing's not good.
It's that private sector business we dealt with on the food trucks. As far as I know, there have been no notifications to local service providers that this is about to be implemented. So that's the statement I would like to make. Thank you.
Gotcha. All right, Council, please vote. It does pass 4-1. Burns, you need that break or no?
No. Okay. I'll be able to go before they do the next thing, but we still have the second reading of this ordinance.
Ordinance on second reading, 12.1, ordinance 2210, Mr. Burns.
Ordinance 2210, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Fort Walton Beach, Florida, amending section 10.50.09 utility deposits of the Code of Ordinances by clarifying deposit requirements updating language pertaining to the length of the time utility deposits are held, and provide for an effective date. This is second reading, and I believe this Neighbors is presenting.
We're going to punt on this. Looking into it after last week, we had to keep it on because it was second reading. So we're bringing it up that we need to punt on the second reading until we have some homework to do. Cassie has to go through 300 some odd bills because the filter was turned off, so people that are due a refund did not potentially get a refund, so she's QA/QCing that, right? And then she owes me some policies. We don't have any policies that kind of govern this, so until we have that, I don't feel comfortable moving that one forward. I'm told by 6-9 will be good-ish. So the goal is to put this back on for 6-9 for second reading.
Okay. So we will, we don't need a motion, we can just take no action tonight?
It'd be better to just postpone indefinitely and then staff can put it back on.
Council, you got a motion to postpone this ordinance indefinitely?
Mr. Mayor, I move to postpone ordinance 2210 indefinitely.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Browning, seconded by Councilman Merrill to postpone ordinance 2210 indefinitely. Anyone from the public wish to speak on this?
I do.
Yes, sir.
I just want to thank you for...
Come on up. Need to hear your name.
Chuck Alderson, 60 Memorial Southwest. Thank you for doing that, because that was the right thing to do, knowing what you guys said.
Well, I think we spoke, yeah, we're right.
Yeah,
thank you.
Exactly the right action.
Thank you, sir. All right, Councilman vote. And that does pass unanimously. Brings us to item 13.1, Ms. Neighbors.
Thank you, Mayor. This agenda item is about the auditor selection to award the annual auditing services for the next 5 years. The city's current auditor, as you all know, is Warren Abbott, who has done a wonderful job since 2009. Per the Florida statutes, a couple years ago, I think it was in 2019, they established that the governing body shall establish an auditor selection committee. On January 27th of 2026, Council, you guys appointed Councilmember Bryce Jeter as the chair of the Audit Selection Committee and myself to serve as an advisor of the committee. I had no vote, I was just to serve as an advisor. The committee consisted of Councilman Jeter, Mr. John Mead, Ms. Georgia Henderson, Pastor Tim Black, and Mr. Steve Caldarelli, who ended up declining the appointment. On February 10th, the committee met and we discussed the evaluation criteria, which the evaluation criteria was included the following: technical requirements, their past experience and expertise; other technical requirements, their specific audit approach and identification of potential problems; their pricing of services and costs, local merchant preference, and whether they were state certified. On February 26th, we put out the RFP. On March 24th, we got a total of 3 proposals, and we received them from Carrigs and Ingram, Maulding and Jenkins, and Warren Averett. On April 14th, the Auditor Selection Committee met to deliberate over the 3 proposals, and they discussed and debated, and they voted to rank all the proposals in order, which was all in your backup documentation, and how each member voted. Based on the final rankings on April 14th, the Auditor Selection Committee recommended awarding the RFP to Warren Averett for a performance period of June 1st, 2026 through May 31st, 2031. The proposed annual cost is approximately $74,000 per year, or $378,000 over the 5-year contract. If it's approved, it'll be allocated over the 5 years within the General Funds Finance Department. This item is affected by the Charter Section 35 due to the expense in the General Fund operations. So pursuant to Section 218.39 Florida statutes, the Auditor Selection Committee respectfully recommends City Council authorization to award RFP number 26001 for annual auditing services with the highest ranked firm, Warren Averett LLC, and authorization for the city manager and city attorney to negotiate a contract with a performance period of June 1st, 26 through May 31st, 2031. And if you have any questions, let me know.
Excellently done, Ms. Neighbors, and I love that you already answered Councilman Walker's upcoming question. Anyone else with questions for Ms. Neighbors on this item? Or Mr. Walker, any additional questions?
No, I mean, well, sure.
We know you got one.
When I was reading as you were doing, so I heard, well, that's all I've heard from you. But and I know that you've done your background background on it. It's interesting to me, and I wasn't a part of it, so I'm just curious. What what would you say was the prevailing factor to choose? We did choose, I mean, it's
If you look
Warren
on,
Averett, is that correct?
yeah, if you look on page, hold on, I think it's 198, 197 and 198, you'll
Yeah.
see all of the items. And so every member ranked each one of how weighted them and how much they thought was, as they went through their proposals, what they thought, like what was their best attributes, and then each one's a percentage ranking, like one's 35, another one's 35, like local preference is 5%. So, and then the purchasing department puts it all together and they tally it all together.
So it was feeling based, fair enough to say, right? They felt this one was.
Yeah, and I was there, like, if they had questions, like technical questions for like auditing, I was there to answer their questions.
That's a big dollar difference. That's 378 versus 315, right?
It is.
And we chose staff was recommending the 378 one, correct?
That's correct.
Over the 315 one?
Yes.
Based on feelings.
But remember, that's over 5 years. And not feelings ranking.
Yeah.
Well, but how I feel about the ranking. Because, I mean,
It was based on expertise as well.
seriousness, I mean, I was just looking up here at the line items, partners, managers, supervisory staff. That one stood out to begin with. Supervisory staff in an audit firm seems pretty big to me, but anyway, they've got 155. The others have 180. So, you know, again, I know that.
The technical requirements are 70% of the vote.
And how
cost
are
is only
technical
20%.
requirements established? Well, what is
Within the RFP.
technical requirements, specific auditing approach, identification of potential problems? All right.
Thank you, Sarah. Anyone else with any questions on this? Anyone from the public wish to speak on this item? Council wish to take any action tonight?
Mr. Mayor, I move the council authorization to award RFP number 26-001 for annual auditing services with the highest ranked firm, Warren Averett LLC, and authorization for the city manager and city attorney to negotiate a contract with a performance period of June 1st, 26 through May 31st, 31.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Browning. We'll give this one to Councilwoman DeBerry to move forward with the staff's recommendation and award this contract to Warren Averett. Any additional comments?
I'll just say thanks to Mr. Jeter for running the committee and everybody who was a part of that committee and taking their time.
Anyone else? Council, please vote. It does pass 4-1. I would like to thank the staff members from Warren Averett for being here for tonight's meeting and making sure if we had any questions that we could ask them to you. Thank you very much. That moves us to item 13.2 and financial consulting services. I'm going to go with Mr. Davis.
She's not presenting. So, contracts up for renewal. And just things to consider, right? I know there's a push for a full-time finance director. I think we had to, and the results were not what we were chasing. So I'm looking at it from a results-driven perspective and flawless audits. She's an award-winning finance director as of 2 weeks ago. So if it wasn't working, I would tell you, or I would just tell her. But right now, for considering budget caps, considering the results, I'm good to go with this. So, open to questions.
Thank you, Sarah. I would also like to make a very brief statement before you, council, ask any questions. As the only one sitting on this board right now has been sitting up here during the tenure of the last 2 finance directors that we have, I can tell you that it is an absolute night and day difference in the overall performance of the entire department under Ms. Neighbors versus the prior 2. The fact that she may not be a full-time employee and take city health insurance.
I don't get any benefits.
And any other benefits is only a great attribute to our city. That would not be something that we would get with anyone else. So I would strongly advise in her favor.
With that said, you can certainly go against me or ask any questions that you'd like to Mr. Davis or Ms. Neighbors or anyone else. Council questions on this item. Mr. Walker.
Yeah, I was looking back through the contracts and want to make sure if we can just verbally confirm, prior one to you left and was vacant for a period of time. How long was it vacant before you
I
stepped
think
in?
the prior finance director left in either October or November, and then I came on in January, so it was a few months.
So it operated without one of you?
Yeah, the Human Resource Administrative Director kind of ran it with my controller.
Right, I saw that. And so, as I was thinking about, and I was like, okay, well, it's time to renew. I saw it's just coming up here in a second. I thought there was going to be something there. And then I started digging into the agenda package, and I was surprised, I guess, that it's a 5-year contract with you on that. Do you have a 5-year contract? Ms. Barnes, do you have a 5-year contract?
So it's a 5-year with 1-year renewals, right? And
oh, okay, and that's
I can end that at any time if it's not working out.
So, and that was hard for me to make out. It's a 1-year contract with renewals.
Correct.
And there's a 90-day out on either one of our ends of.
And when I was looking through this, it was 90 days, but in the summary of it, it was like, well, that's a 5-year deal. So, I mean, let's get down to the tax, I guess. So, year 1, you're going along, everything's great, and a year and a half happens, and something blows up. I don't know. You've just completely missed something, whatever, right? This group up here said, man, we just can't have that anymore.
It would actually be
But it's Mr. Davis. Of course, no, we would express that to Mr. Davis.
Terminate for cause versus we don't want to renew, or and I've already told her I'm looking at full-time staff eventually at some point. So whether we have internal people that are ready, they're not, or I have somebody from South Florida that I trust.
Sure.
That is potentially an option, right?
Sure.
That's why that 90 days is out of courtesy to say, hey, I'm ready to move with a full-time person because that 3% cap doesn't exist anymore and I can actually hire people too soon. So there's a strategy behind it.
I don't doubt that. I just want to make sure that I understand what I'm voting on, pro or con, whatever it turns out to be. So that year and a half comes, we're disappointed without cause. We're just disappointed in her.
Correct.
That's without cause. And we want to terminate you, and we speak to Mr. Davis here publicly and say we're disappointed in her and we don't want her here anymore. What can you do there? And you're like, we agree, I agree. I'm going to terminate her. Terminate her in the 8th month of the first year, 8th month of the, I'm sorry. Yeah, 8th month, 9th month of the contract. So we have to give 90 days, right?
No, if you're not happy with it, that's termination for cause because something's not getting done correctly.
I could be terminated in any month.
As a human being, that's a different
Well, I mean, okay, so she stops responding to 4 council members. She stops responding.
I will handle
Is that cause or is that? Okay, because I didn't.
Absolutely. No.
Okay, so what would be without cause? We just want a new one?
A whole new council shows up and says, I want to bring my own person.
Okay, let's talk about that scenario then. So that scenario happens. They're not, the new council, whoever that may be, is not happy. They decide to terminate her and have a discussion with you about it. We'd like a new one. And we actually want her to come in as a charter officer, as I understand that position once was. Is that correct?
It once was.
It once was. And I hear stories about it, why it should be back under us as opposed to under you. And it's not the way it is. It's under you right now. There's no misunderstanding about it. But again, first year of that 1-year contract, we got 4 potential renewals that are already spelled out in there. In the 9th month, prior to the 9th month, which would allow the 90 days, 90-day notice is given to you from Mr. Davis. Hey, you're not going to be retained any further. What are the costs? Is it just to finish out paying those remaining months? That's it?
Yeah, there's not a buyout.
Right, and there's no 4 years, nothing related to that. Great.
That squares it for you?
Yep.
Anyone else with any questions on this item? Anyone from the public wish to speak on this? Council, you wish to take any action tonight?
Mr. Mayor, so moved to accept staff's recommendation to authorize city manager to execute an agreement for finance director services with the coordinator. Second.
Motion made by Councilman Merrill and seconded by Councilwoman Riley to accept staff's recommendation and execute an agreement for finance director services with Nicole Neighbors CPA CAM LLC. Any additional comments? Ms. DeBerry?
Yes, I appreciate all your, I've been here and seen the several previous finance directors, and you far exceed.
Thank you.
And she's lived here since 1970.
Since 1970, and I've been at these meetings. No, truly, I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
I don't have to.
Ms. Riley, you're allowed to make a statement now. You're good.
I would just like to say I'm very happy that you're here. And I honestly believe in our mayor, and I think that he's telling 100% the truth about you in this experience working with you. And so I certainly support it.
Thank you.
Council, please vote. And the motion does pass unanimously. That brings us on to a contract amendment for the city manager. Mr. Burns, would you like to present
Yes,
this?
I'll introduce it. So the city manager would like to request the city council to allow him to have the contract amended to allow him to serve as an adjunct professor and to possibly, he doesn't have any plans to do this right now, but he could in the future do some consulting services, but in the more immediate future, to act as an adjunct professor, I think locally at Northwest Florida State College. And I think he would get paid maybe like $8 an hour, like a part-time basis. So it's not like something he's doing really to make a lot of money off of. It's, I think, something he's indicated he wants to do to maybe try to recruit actually potentially employees to the city. And also to advance his own professional career as well, as like you want to encourage anyone to do. And so he came to me and I added this provision in there to allow that if y'all do pass it. And it says you would add one sentence to Section 8 of his contract, and it states, notwithstanding the foregoing, the manager may engage in outside consulting service activities or outside consulting activities or serve as an adjunct professor, provided such activities do not interfere with manager's obligations to the city. And that would be added to a paragraph in his contract that already says he shall not manage or operate a business outside of his employment. So he already has restrictions on what he can do outside anyway. And so this would allow him to express flexibility to go be an adjunct professor at Northwest Florida State College.
Gotcha. Thank you, sir. Questions on this for either the contract portion for Mr. Burns or the intent for future Professor Davis? Seeing none, does anyone from the public wish to speak on this? Council, do you wish to take any action on this item?
Mr. Mayor, I move for the approval of the amendment to the city manager employment agreement authorizing limited adjunct teaching and consulting activities. I don't know if I said that right.
No, you were perfect.
Yeah, you're
Great.
Motion made by Councilman Brown, seconded by Councilwoman Riley to approve these changes to the city manager contract. Any additional comments from council?
Thank you for trying to recruit some people. We definitely need it.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
Yeah, just for clarification too, I've had some questions about the consulting side. I'm not going to go work for a consulting firm. This potentially sometimes pops up where ICMA or FCCMA would want me to help draft policy, that sort of thing. That's all it is. It's labeled as a consultant.
And you have to be paid under law, so you'd be receiving a little bit of compensation.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Right. Nothing else in that. Yes. Council, please vote. All right, it does pass unanimously. That brings us to, I think just for fun tonight, let's do item 13.4 all over again. Oh, no, wait, I guess we'll take it. All right, city manager reports, Mr. Davis.
I have a lot, so stay with me. Looking to do that workshop on June 16 at 4 p.m.
What? What'd you say?
I'm looking to host a workshop on June 16 at 4 p.m. so we can start talking budget workshop. And this is to talk about, and it's an ask, right? I can't tell you guys what to do, but the ask is, I know we've had a discussion on outsourcing our communications or the rec programs or whatever. let's have that one discussion and then we don't bring it up anymore. That's, we can invite the watch groups, anybody that wants to come and talk about some of these programs. But whether we want to own it or not, when we keep bringing this stuff up, it does put a level of stress on the staff, right? I mean, it's their paycheck potentially getting interrupted. So one, I just want to see if June 16 at 4 p.m. works for you guys. Nicole will be at a conference, but she can Zoom in, but it's not really numbers related, right? So if that works, we'll throw that out and invite the world. We good on that?
Most likely, yes.
Okay, and then just while we have the light going right, I have to be objective. I can't insert my emotions. So whether I want to keep a department or not, it's irrelevant. It's like, a lot of people are asking me, you're trying to get rid of the people. I serve at the will of council. So if council says add 800 people, I add 800 people. If council says get rid of 800 people, I don't have a choice. So I have to stay objective, right? I just want to put that out there. All right, some cool stuff, right? Wendy Riggs and Jeff Roach in IT and Parks, respectively, there, graduated from the Dale Carnegie School that was funded by the Chamber. So just some cool stuff there in our partnership with the Chamber. And Claire in our purchasing department was the purchasing rep of the year, which is kind of cool, right? Echoing the Bowlegs comments earlier, it's my first time experiencing it. I don't dig on parades and all that stuff. It's not my thing. But watching people have fun and enjoying the landing, that was really cool for me to watch, and so super cool on that. I want to put it out in the ether. I don't think people realize how hard, Schmidt's not here, but Ted from the Chamber and Daniel's team, they are fighting all day, every day, trying to figure out the traffic problem that we have. We understand it's awful. It takes me an hour to get over to the trap house, and it's really frustrating, so I get it. And the traffic backing up into the neighborhoods, I promise you we're trying. We're not sleeping on it. So just, I got verbal confirmation that the Brooks two-way traffic will start on Monday. So whether that's Monday night, Monday morning, Tuesday early, don't know. I think that'll help a little bit. And some of the strategies that we used last year that worked with that traffic, they're going to be deployed this weekend. So I'm hoping it gets better. But I don't want people to think we're just sleeping on it and waiting for around the mound, because that's 2035. We do owe a response. I think Councilman Merrill brought it up earlier to Mr. Godwin's letter from the county about the traffic cameras, and I put that on for the June 9 discussion. So we've had a couple of concepts being pitched, and again, I'm indifferent. I don't care which way we go. It's not that I don't care. Just, I do owe him a response, though. We kind of put it on the agenda previously and we got sidetracked, so we'll circle back then. I do want to mention our cleanup for 6/6. That's our biggest cleanup in the history of the world. So that one's cool, right? We got stuff posted online. I've been trying to pitch it on the radio stations, and I think that's all I got.
Thank you, sir. City Attorney reports.
Nothing further, not Mayor.
All right. We'll go back to final comments for the board. We start with Councilmember Browning.
Thank you, Mayor. With the, Mr. Davis, with the workshop and items to bring up to want to get rid of or whatever, do we need to let you know beforehand? Or are you just going to come and we're just going to talk about, we're just going to throw things at you?
I think the public should be there before you let me know beforehand, because that way they can say, no, don't get rid of that.
I just meant topics to discuss, like to bring, because if I want to get, like you mentioned with the dispatching, right? Like we already know that's going to come up. If there's other items that need to come up that people may want to come talk on.
So maybe here's the best way I can answer that. You let me know as soon as possible. We'll put it on the agenda that these are the items we're going to speak to. That way the public at least knows. They might not want to show up if they don't care about X department, but they're super passionate about Y department.
Got you. And then also on the Bowlegs wagon, I went to the parade. That's the only festivities I made it to this past weekend. It was great. Mr. Barry and Miss Riley were there with us. It was very embarrassing. We did not have a single thing to throw but waves. So that was very kind of sad and disappointing. But
I have to own that, right? That's some of the stuff we've cut out to meet certain caps. So
yeah, it's not.
It's on me.
It's not on me. With that, and then also I just want to mention with the remarks regarding the dispatching. I would just say, I don't know how it came back up either. That was kind of way off mark, but I'll just say, I can't speak for everybody and the reasonings why all this stuff is coming up, but I'll say that I support the police department, the fire department, the dispatching, and I will do everything I can to preserve those departments. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Berry.
Yes, follow up on dispatching. I appreciate the dispatchers. I truly do. And the police department, fire department, I'm right there behind you all the way. And the few times that I've called dispatch many times. I have your number memorized, and I do appreciate you taking the calls and listening to over the years. But we made progress. We have made progress, and I thank you, Chief Beige, for that, and the decibel reader. So thank you again. I appreciate everyone being here. It's been a long time, and I appreciate your comments. I appreciate our new staff, the rec department. There's a lot of changes that have been made since you've been here, Mr. Davis, and I appreciate that too. We needed it. So please keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Berry. Mr. Merrill.
I'm all good.
Ms. Riley.
I just wanted to, I'm thinking about it because I'm a little emotional on this, but I just want to thank all of you all for passing that vote with the Greater Peace Baptist Church. And I say this wholeheartedly because I feel like, I have family members, that grew up in the Peace Baptist Church, even though, my church is Sylvania Heights. I have so many friends there, and I know so many people, and I know people that have, passed and went on, that have left their legacy at Peace Baptist. And so, for me, because I really like the idea of just helping people and making sure that, if I could, save the world, I would do it when it comes to homelessness and housing and things of that nature. And I just feel like, food insecurities, housing insecurities, that's something near and dear to my heart. And I feel very strongly that if we establish partnerships within our city, and the church is a great partnership, because the church is going to always be, always be there to open their doors to feed the hunger. But on the other hand, I just, feel like, giving them the opportunity to give them the 4-month extension to do what they need to do. And I'm very confident that they'll make things happen. I'm very confident in Jenkins Engineering as well. And so I just want to thank you all for, just getting behind and putting that vote there and see how things go. Because not only just thinking about the city of Fort Walton Beach, we have military. This is a military area, and the housing is a crisis for our military as well. And we're so close to Herbert Field. We're not that far from Agland. But for them to build, apartments, you never know when the second, the third church person or whatever in the military, 3-4 striker that really need housing. And so I just say it all the time that, I love the city of Fort Walton Beach, and I don't want to see anybody go homeless. And anything that we can do to help and establish partnership and making sure that we get affordable workforce housing, it's an honor and a pleasure. And I'm again give a shout out to Chief Beige and his department again, because of the fact that I feel bad too that I didn't make that text to him or call him to for Peace Officers Week, and just to say that I thought about our department, and I'm very proud to be a part of our department. And I'm also for sure that whatever community complaints that are going on in Chester Pruitt Park, it can be worked out. It can be worked out. It's just a matter of people just like to feel that their voices are being heard, and all you have to do is establish a good relationship with them. And if it's a town hall meeting or whatever not, I would love to be a part of it if that's something that you want to do, just to hear the voices of the people at Chester Pruitt Park, because I feel for that for the things that sometimes our community have to go through, and specifically when they deal with the African American community. There's a lot of struggles, there's a lot of dilemmas and challenges, but we can, as a race of people, all of us, it should be one as united, all moving forward, with our community. That's all I want, is the better for the city of Fort Walton Beach, and for our community to be able to work together, live together, and play together. Thank you.
I couldn't agree more with you, Ms. Riley. Thank you for saying that.
Mr. Walker.
A couple of quick things to get you out of here on time. We need you to get those drugs.
I believe you would.
Mr. Davis, thank you as always for your updates and those emails, very helpful. And I meant to get back with you earlier, but he got with me late, Mr. Ozimek, that we talked about. I relayed to him what you passed on to me. He says he doesn't have that email. So if you could either copy me on one or resend it to him. He says he didn't get that update, so if you could do that. Also, I'm not sure if it's Chief or Mr. Burns or even maybe you, but I know at the last meeting it was interesting. There was a request for an update on the UTC things at the county. I'm interested in how many went to the county at the UTC, how many were prosecuted.
Not till the 21st.
It's the 21st.
Right. Yeah, 21st.
Do we know how many are before the judge at that time? Okay. Perfect. Thank you, sir. Thirdly, this will be the last thing. One of the gentlemen that came up and spoke about how he was treated and or the Chester Pruitt situation there, he made a statement that caught he says he can't do anything about cutting taxes. So I know where I'm going to go speak to some people next week and the weeks after, because we know that this right here, this group up here, we are the ones who can cut taxes, and we'll do it at his request and or others. We'd like to educate the community about how taxes are developed and implemented and passed and or repealed. So I look forward to going over and meeting with, possibly catching up with him and talking to him about how cutting taxes actually works. So that's exciting.
I would love, Ms. Barnes, if we could publicly notice that meeting so I could also attend. Listen to Mr. Walker and talk to the community. I would like to finish on a couple things quickly. Ms. Horgan, I sincerely appreciate your comments earlier. I know they were kind of lost in the moment of tensions in here and people were milling about and there was a lot of background noise. But I heard every word that you said, and I sincerely appreciate you standing up here and saying that to this board tonight. As to what Councilman Walker was just alluding to, but more so what Ms. Riley was saying, you know, the police officers that have been in this room tonight, Mr. Marlowe, Mr. Ross, Chief Page, Mr. Montgomery, and many others that I've come to know, you know, over my time here, I know that they have the right intentions in their heart. I know that there are also potentially people that could have the wrong intentions. I trust so much the leadership of our police department to know that and to find that and to root that out. And I also know that everyone that walks into this room and says whatever they want, however they want, to this board also has other alternative motives, etc., may have actually done more than they have alluded to tonight. Surprise, surprise, right? But at the same time, like Ms. Riley said, let's all work together and let's all make the best of this situation. Chester Pruitt's a beautiful park. I personally have been there many, many times. Was just there for May Day this year, played softball there. I've coached kids there. I've gone to the baseball game with the special needs kids versus the 850 kids not too long ago. Like, there's been a lot of great events that have gone on at that park, and that park used to be in a lot worse way than it is now. I think this board, the previous boards, have been responsible for really allocating funds to make sure that Chester Pruitt Park is just as good, if not better, than all the other parks in our city. Now, can you go charge your phone or an electric bike there? No, you can't do that at any park. You're not supposed to be able to do that at any park. It's an ordinance, it's a regulation, it's a law of this city, and it's because we don't want to pay for everyone's bike to be charged. That's something that collectively as a city, as taxpayers, we've agreed, hey, let's not pay for everyone else's electricity just because they want to go to the park and use the electricity there. That's a very reasonable and rational thing. Let's also not ban people from being able to go to that park if that's the only offense that they in fact have committed. And I think all of the officers in this room would certainly agree with that, and I'm certain that there could be more to the story. I would like to end on my apologies for not being at the parade last night. I think I've said this before. I can't be at everything. I can't do everything. I coached a baseball game for my son last night and his last year of Shalom Little League, Junior League. which the city has been gracious enough to host at the Prestonhood Recreation Center. And I will choose that 10 out of 10 times. I've been in a lot of parades, and they're great, and I'm glad for all that the city does, and I'm glad it brings our community together. But that is a choice I will make every time. And I try to be in as many things as I possibly can for this volunteer position. But I will also add that it very much did hurt my feelings and probably others, as much as I care about feelings, not a ton, but it was very off-putting, offensive, etc., to be told that your time is worth $0. I don't spend a ton of time, like this isn't a full-time job, but it is a job, and it's a lot of time, it's a lot of events, it's a lot of hours. And I would hope that in the future, whether I'm on this board or not, whether I'm the mayor or not, that these people that sit up here and volunteer their time are rewarded with at least something. How much do county commissioners make? $80,000+ a year. And many of them still have other jobs, lawyers, etc. They're rewarded with $80,000, health insurance, etc. These guys were asking for $1,000 a month, and people said, not cool, we're out.